Chapter 23:11. Therefore these people did not take action. Lin Xian frowned and looked at young Master Qianshan. This guy is quite sinister. He wants to unite all the clans and attack me after the banquet? If that's the case, there's nothing more to say. However, before Ting Qingshan made a move, young Master Qianshan spoke again. This time he looked at Ting Qingshan. Kid, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't be too arrogant. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have the illusionary flower palace's support. Every single person here was a young master of a large family, a young genius. You can't afford to offend them. Especially the 3 geniuses of the 10 clan. How dare you kill one of them? Do you know that you have committed a heinous crime? A heinous crime? Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. So what? Are you going to punish me? Lin Xian looked at young Master Qianshan. His eyes were like 2 divine swords that could pierce through everything. Young Master Qianshan felt a great pressure when he felt Ting Qingshan's gaze. It was as if his body was going to be penetrated. He snorted and a terrifying power rose in his body to resist the gaze. He could not be afraid in front of so many people, let alone lose face. Of course he could not attack Ting Qingshan. Therefore he said loudly in the next moment, I must punish you, but I don't have to do it. Teng Jia's experts will take you away after you leave the illusionary flower palace. Is that so? After talking for so long you still don't dare to attack? You're just a piece of trash. What's the difference between you and them? All right, you're a more sinister piece of trash. Lin Xian sneered and said provocatively. Since you don't dare to attack, then get lost. Don't block my way. What? Everyone went crazy, not daring to believe their own ears. What did they see? What did they hear? The young man in front of them was scolding young Master Qianshan and asking him to get lost. Heavens, they were not dreaming, were they? For a moment, everyone went crazy. Young Master Qianshan's face darkened and a cold light appeared in his eyes. Ting Qingshan dared to scold him and ask him to get lost. This filled his heart with killing intent. If it wasn't for the rules of the Moonflower Castle, he dared to guarantee that the other party would already be a dead man. What kind of look is that? How dare you release your killing intent towards me? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His figure flickered and appeared in front of them in an instant. The azure dragon palm in his hand smashed down once more. This palm strike was too fast and too sudden. Everyone was stunned. They had never imagined that Lin Xian would dare to make a move on young Master Qianshan. This was Qianshan City. Young Master Qianshan was even more shocked. There was actually someone who dared to attack him in Qianshan City? Wasn't this purely courting death? Therefore, for a moment he was also stunned. Boom. The azure dragon hand shone like the sun and the moon. It crushed the void and enveloped young Master Qianshan. Sensing this terrifying aura, young Master Qianshan finally regained his senses. In the next moment he retreated rapidly. At the same time, countless rays of light rushed out of his body in an attempt to resist. However, he was only resisting in a hurry while Lin Xian was prepared. This azure dragon palm contained the power of the great dragon sword soul, which was extremely terrifying. In a hurry, young Master Qianshan could not block it at all. Therefore, in the next moment, the light curtain that he held up shattered, and the azure dragon palm slapped his face. Smack. The crisp sound of a slap was heard. Blood splattered in the air, and young Master Qianshan's body kept flying backward. Everyone was stunned. The gazes of tens of millions of martial artists followed young Master Qianshan's body into the distance. Then with a bang young Master Qianshan fell to the ground. Ah, damn kid. Young Master Qianshan stood up and roared crazily. His body was filled with a terrifying aura like tens of thousands of sword lights that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. His cold eyes were filled with biting cold killing intent. His eyes were red, and the temperature of the entire space instantly dropped as if they had returned to the world of ice. He was crazy, he was really crazy. He did not expect that someone would dare to attack him. Moreover, it was to slap his face. Was he courting death? He was young Master Qianshan, and this was Qianshan City. As long as he gave the order, countless experts would rush over. Who dared to be rude to him? In Qianshan City he was the king. No matter how strong the enemy was, they had to lie down. But now the young man in front of him was so arrogant. Not only did he confront him in public, but he even slapped him in the face. He could not stand it. However, Lin Xian did not seem to want to let him go. After the successful attack, his body swayed, and he appeared in front of young Master Qianshan again. The azure dragon palm in his hand slapped down mercilessly. The azure dragon palm shone with divine light like a dragon's head, and it let out a piercing roar. It shattered the entire void. The blood of tens of millions of martial artists boiled, and some of them could not help but want to kneel down. There was nothing he could do about it. This palm strike was simply too terrifying. Damn it. Young Master Qianshan's pupils constricted. He did not expect that Su Mo would dare to attack again. Moreover, Su Mo's speed was far beyond his imagination. He roared and resisted with all his strength because he could not afford to be slapped in the face again. Otherwise, he would not be able to establish himself in Qianshan City in the future. Buzz. Young Master Qianshan opened his mouth and spat out a round bead. It instantly enlarged in the air like a mountain, blocking in front of him to block Su Mo's attack. Boom. The azure dragon palm slapped the red bead, and a dazzling light burst out. Terrifying energy swept in all directions. The King Almighties in the surroundings screamed. Many of them vomited blood and were sent flying. Their faces were pale. That attack was too terrifying. It was far beyond everyone's imagination. Crack, crack, crack. However, to everyone's horror, the red bead in front of them was covered with countless cracks. Then it collapsed and turned into pieces. The azure dragon hand carrying boundless sword chi fiercely slapped down. Smack. The palm slapped young Master Qianshan's face again, causing his face to be completely deformed. Buff. Young Master Qianshan's teeth were broken, and he was sent flying while vomiting blood. This time he crashed into a pillar on the left, causing heaven and earth to shake. The terrifying void was shattered. Ah, damn brat. I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you. Young Master Qianshan roared crazily. Endless light burst out from his body, causing his deformed face to return to its original state. His teeth also grew out. At his level, as long as his soul was not destroyed or his body was seriously injured, he could recover. However, even though his body had recovered, he still couldn't accept being slapped in the face in front of everyone. Not only did Su Mo slap his face, but he did it twice. Chapter 23:12. Not only did the other party hit his face, but he did it twice. This made him so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He swore that he would kill the other party, to relieve the hatred in his heart. Today I will completely offend the Moonflower Palace. I will cut you down with my blade. Young Master Qianshan was really angry. He didn't hesitate to break the rules and attack. If the Moonflower Palace wanted to blame him, he would use the power of the City Lord Mansion to fight against them. If he couldn't win, then he would fight to the death. But today he had to take revenge. In the field, the ones who were still calm were Yen Ryu and Murong Qingqing. These two stunning beauties had faint smiles on their faces. They were very calm. Zhao Zhirua and Xiao Ling at the side opened their eyes wide and their cherry lips were really big. They were really stunned. Xiao Kuang's face was also full of shock. To be honest, he usually thought that he was very arrogant and didn't put anyone in his eyes. But now he found that compared to Lin Xian, his arrogance was too gentle. At least, he didn't dare to break the rules of the Moonflower Palace, and he didn't dare to become enemies with so many young geniuses of the big clans. Among them, there were top geniuses like young Master Qian San from the Ting family. Looking at Lin Xian's appearance, was he going to become enemies with the entire Qianshan domain? While everyone was still in shock, Lin Xian made his move again. The azure dragon palm kept attacking, turning into countless palm shadows in the sky, completely covering young Master Qian San. At the same time he sneered and said, "Stop talking nonsense. If you want to fight, then fight. If you don't want to fight, then get out of my way." The cold voice sounded, making everyone's scalp tingle. Arrogant, he was really too arrogant. They had never seen such an arrogant person. This was defying the heavens. Ah! Young Master Qianshan roared at the sky, his black hair fluttering. At the same time he waved his fist, forming a terrifying fist shadow. It collided with the azure dragon palm that filled the sky. In an instant, the void shattered and countless cracks appeared. Violent energy swept in all directions. Thunder Snake Blade. On young Master Qianshan's body, terrifying thunder armor formed. Otherwise, it would form a terrifying domain around him. A snake-shaped blade appeared in the void and he grabbed it. Crack. Thunder and lightning exploded all over the sky, covering the entire sky. Boom. As the saber slashed down, 10,000 lightning bolts descended. The violent power made everyone hold their breaths. This was young Master Qian San, who was very powerful. Even though the other party was young, he had already attained the strength of a top mighty being. It could be said that many of the older generation felt ashamed of their inferiority. Sure enough, when this saber slashed down, many martial artists were directly blasted to the ground by the shocking thunder, their bodies twitching. You want to fight me with just you alone? He really overestimated himself. Lin Xian coldly snorted, waving the ancient dragon source sword to attack again. The huge sword Qi turned into a true dragon in the sky and slashed down. It directly tore apart the sea of thunder that filled the sky. Clang. The thunder snake saber and the ancient dragon abyss sword clashed together, emitting the sound of metal colliding. However, in an instant the thunder snake saber trembled and shattered. What? How could this be? Young Master Qian Shan was so shocked that he couldn't believe it. His thunder snake blade was extremely terrifying, but at this moment, it had actually shattered. How was this possible? What kind of sword was that in his hand? Damn it! He roared again and the endless sea of thunder rolled, once again forming a terrifying thunder snake saber. However, it was useless. Lin Xian used the Wanton Sky Destroyer sword, and the terrifying sword Qi ruthlessly descended. In the sky, countless sword Qi descended, directly tearing apart the sea of thunder, and extinguishing all the aura. The thunder snake wild saber instantly collapsed. Poof! Young Master Qian Shan's king's domain was also suppressed, and countless cracks appeared. In fact, even the thunder battle armor on his body was rapidly dispelled. In an instant, countless sword wounds appeared on his body, and blood dyed his body red. Damn it! How could this be? I don't believe it. Young Master Qian Shan roared crazily, his eyes filled with shock. He was a young genius. At such a young age he already had the combat strength of a top mighty being. Other than those princes and saints, no one could suppress him. But now he was actually beaten to the point that he could not fight back and he was even injured. This was unacceptable to him. However, in the next moment he roared crazily, "Damn kid, this is between you and me. I'll definitely kill you." As he spoke, the aura on his body also changed. It was no longer a sea of thunder that filled the sky but yin and yang qi. One black and one white qi surrounded his body. One of his eyes turned black while the other turned white. It was an extremely strange sight. A terrifying and mysterious power appeared on his body. In an instant, it enveloped the entire space. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. What kind of cultivation technique is this? It's so strange. The people around him screamed. The yin-yang technique was the cultivation technique of the yin-yang sect. That's right. Young Master Qian Shan was not only the young master of the city lord's mansion, but he was also a prodigy of the yin-yang sect. The yin-yang sect was an unparalleled sect. It was extremely terrifying. The yin-yang qi cultivated in the sect had a mysterious connection with heaven and earth. It could be said to be incomparably terrifying. It seemed that young Master Qian Shan was really angry. Otherwise he would not have used the yin-yang qi. It's over. That kid is dead meat. No one can withstand the yin-yang technique. The yin-yang sect? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. Naturally, he knew that in the middle ground, other than the 9 imperial dynasties, there were also unparalleled sections. The yin-yang sect was one of them. Its strength and status were equivalent to the sacred grounds of the eastern wilderness. Moreover, he knew that the yin-yang sect was not an ordinary unparalleled sect. It was an extremely terrifying one. That was because the yin-yang qi was the origin energy of heaven and earth. One could imagine how confident and terrifying the yin-yang sect was to cultivate that cultivation technique. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. In fact, he was looking forward to it. That was because he had never fought with anyone from the yin-yang sect. Let me see what's so special about the legendary yin-yang sect. Lin Xian snorted coldly and attacked again. You'll see. Not only that, but you'll also kneel at my feet. I'll make you beg for death. Young Master Qian Shan roared angrily, and the yin-yang qi on his body became even more terrifying. At that moment he looked extremely strange. Half of his body was extremely pale, while the other half was as black as ink. The yin-yang saber. With a furious roar, the black and white qi on young Master Qian Shan's body surged out and formed 2 long sabers in front of him. One was as white as snow while the other was as black as ink. They were the yin saber and the yang saber. Kill. With the yin-yang saber in his hand, young Master Qian Shan turned into a terrifying bolt of lightning and charged forward. That was the yin-yang sect's grand theurgy. It was extremely terrifying. The yin-yang qi surged toward him, and the terrifying saber light cut through the entire space. At that moment, young Master Qian Shan was like the god of death from hell. He was unstoppable. Be careful, kid. The dark red divine dragon reminded him. Lin Xian nodded slightly and narrowed his eyes. He was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, he sensed the sharp saber light in front of him. Chapter 23:13. The white saber should be the yang saber, which could absorb the vitality in his body. The black saber should be the yin saber, which could increase the death aura in his body. One could deprive vitality and the other could increase the death aura. When used together they could kill the enemy quickly. As expected of a peerless sect, their divine powers were indeed magical. Lin Xian's eyes lit up, but he was not afraid. In the next moment he swung the ancient dragon abyss sword again, and the chaotic heaven destroyer sword flew out quickly. In the sky, the chaotic sword aura and the terrifying yin-yang saber collided, making an earth-shattering sound. The entire space was filled with incomparable light. Stop struggling. It's useless. You can't withstand my yin-yang saber. Young Master Chen San sneered and charged at him like a demon. Is that so? Not necessarily. Lin Xian sneered and swung the ancient dragon abyss sword. The divine powers of the yin-yang sect were indeed powerful. If his opponent was a peerless mighty figure, Lin Xian would have to put in a lot of effort. However, his opponent was just an ordinary mighty figure. In that case he could not pose a threat to him at all. As expected, when the ancient dragon abyss sword slashed down, the pair of yin-yang sabers in front of him instantly collapsed. They turned into countless yin-yang qi and scattered around. What? How was that possible? Young Master Chen San was in disbelief. That was his most powerful divine powers, the terrifying divine powers of the yin-yang sect. His opponent destroyed it with a single slash. He was going crazy. Damn it. Go to hell. Yin-yang life and death curse. Young Master Chen Shan shouted angrily and formed a seal with his hands. Buzz. The black and white aura on his body spun quickly, forming runes that flickered in the air. That was also a terrifying divine powers of the yin-yang sect. Once touched, all vitality would be destroyed immediately. There was no way to escape. It was extremely terrifying. Buzz. In the face of the powerful divine powers, Lin Xian did not do anything else. He continued to fight with his sword. The chaotic heaven destroyer sword flew out quickly. Demon seal. Terrifying sword aura surrounded it as if it could seal everything. It collided with the life and death runes that filled the sky. Suddenly the sky was filled with light. The runes danced like waves. The tens of millions of martial artists in the surroundings exclaimed. Both of them were peerless geniuses. They were using divine powers. Unfortunately, in terms of combat strength, young Master Chen San was too weak. Therefore, in an instant the yin-yang life and death curse shattered. Is this the power of the yin-yang sect? That was all there was to it. Lin Xian sneered, not wanting to waste any more time with the other party. Battle song. A terrifying sword chi slashed forward. In an instant, young Master Chen San was enveloped. After young Master Chen Shan was enraged, the yin and yang chi on his body vibrated rapidly, forming a yin-yang diagram to protect him. Boom, boom. An intense collision sounded as the yin-yang diagram resisted the terrifying sword chi. But soon, countless cracks appeared on the yin-yang image before it split apart again. Young Master Chen Shan spat out blood and was sent flying. Damn it, impossible. This was impossible. Chen Shan didn't believe it at all. He was using the great divine abilities of the yin-yang sect. They were absolutely terrifying. However, he was unable to block his opponent's attack. This made him feel a sense of despair. Who was the other party? Could it be that he was really the holy son of some sect? Otherwise it would not be so terrifying. The surrounding crowd was stunned. What? Even young Master Chen Shan was defeated? Firmament? In that case, who else would be able to stop him? They dared not imagine. Lin Xian held the ancient sword and walked forward. Young Master Chen Shan's eyelids twitched when he saw this. At this moment, two middle-aged men rushed out from the crowd. Kid, go to hell. These two were the elites of the city governor's mansion who were responsible for the safety of young Master Chen Shan. Usually they would not come out, but now that young Master Chen Shan was threatened, they could not help but take action. Whoosh! The middle-aged man in a yellow robe on the left waved his hand, and a sharp light flashed. It was a flying sword. It was only the size of a palm, but it was extremely sharp. Wherever it passed, the void would shatter quickly. Nothing could stop it. It was a terrifying treasure. Whoosh! Lin Xian's body swayed and instantly disappeared on the spot. The flying sword only hit his afterimage. However, the flying sword was very intelligent. After missing its target, it drew an arc in the air and attacked Lin Xian again. It was useless. It was the spirit-guiding sword. It would not stop until one of them died. Go to hell, brat. The middle-aged man in a yellow robe sneered. Fight to the death? You think too highly of yourself. Lin Xian snorted. Looking at the flying sword again, he did not dodge and directly swung his sword. Clang. An earth-shattering sound was heard as the ancient dragon abyss sword struck the flying sword. Instantly, countless cracks appeared on the flying sword. Then it collapsed and turned into countless fragments. What? How could this be? The middle-aged man's expression changed drastically. Bang. In the next moment he was sent flying by the azure dragon palm. He spat out blood and crashed into the distance. Damn it. The other middle-aged man in a red robe also roared. He held the Fangtian halberd in his hand and looked very heroic. When the attack landed, it was as if dark clouds were pressing down on the 9 heavens. The terrifying power sent chills down everyone's spines. Buzz. Lin Xian stretched out his palm. Black flames burned fiercely, forming a black flame palm that directly grabbed the Fangtian halberd. Then he shook it forcefully. Boom. The middle-aged man in a red robe was sent flying. His arms were directly broken. Horror, infinite horror. The young man in front of them was too powerful. They could not contend with him at all. In front of them, Lin Xian held the Fangtian halberd and swung it forcefully. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The Fangtian halberd dodged and flew directly toward young Master Qiansan. Oh! The two middle-aged men screamed. Young Master Qiansan was also terrified. He gritted his teeth and once again condensed the yin-yang qi in his body to form a yin-yang bell that enveloped him. Clang. The yin-yang bell shattered, but it blocked the Fangtian halberd. However, the powerful impact still landed on his body. More than half of the bones in his body were broken. His entire body was sent flying again. For a moment, the scene was incomparably silent. The eldest young master of the Ting family, the second young master, and young Master Qianshan were all seriously injured. The other young geniuses. They were also affected. However, Lin Xian did not stop. He turned his head again and stared at the group of people who had gone against him previously. You and you. Get over here and die. Those who were stared at by Lin Xian trembled. A few of them looked uglier than crying, while the others gritted their teeth and roared. Damn it, I'm from the Wang family. I'm from the 6th king's residence. If you dare to touch me, you're dead meat. Angry roars were heard one after another. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully when he heard that. He slapped them. Those young men in white spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Their bodies were badly mutilated. So what if you're from the 6th king's residence? Even if the 6th king comes in person, I'll still kill him if he dares to provoke me. Everyone was about to go crazy when they heard that. Who is this person? How dare he look down on the 6th king? Chapter 23:14. Bang, bang, bang. Next, all the young geniuses who went against him were sent flying by Lin Xian. Every one of them was seriously injured. Many of their bones were broken, and their internal organs were also severely injured. The remaining tens of millions of martial artists' minds were blank. They knew that this matter was definitely serious. If news of this spread, it would probably shock the entire Ninely dynasty. Moreover, it was probably not over yet. These were the young masters of the big clans. Now that they were injured, how could the clans behind them let it go? Sure enough, these people had already begun to secretly contact the forces of their clans. Especially the Ting clan. Young Master Qianshan was gnashing his teeth. Young Master Qianshan had already used a secret method to contact the powerhouses of the City Lord's mansion and rushed over. The two young masters of the Ting clan also contacted the powerhouses of their clans nearby. As long as the other party left the Moonflower Palace, they promised to kill him in an instant. Seeing that the people who went against him had already been beaten down, Lin Xian snorted coldly and looked around again. Then he stared at Yen Ryu. Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Is this guy going to attack Yen Ryu? Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, Yen Ryu's expression did not change at all. Don't you think that we've met before? Lin Xian spoke again. He really wanted to know if the other party was Zhao Shui or not. The corners of the mouths of the surrounding people twitched. Damn, is this guy trying to worm his way into being friends with Yen Ryu? But this method is too old-fashioned. Sure enough, Yen Ryu's gaze changed after hearing this. But soon it calmed down again. It was like a stone that sank into the sea, and only a few ripples were created. But soon it disappeared. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. He had a feeling that the other party was Zhao Shui. But why didn't the other party acknowledge him? Could it be that there was a reason? He did not know, but he definitely wanted to find out. Therefore Lin Xian walked forward. Buzz. However, just as he took 2 steps, 2 figures rushed out beside Yen Ryu. They were 2 young men. Their appearances were not impressive, and they did not emit any powerful auras. Previously Lin Xian did not care at all. However, now that they had rushed out, it seemed like they were here to protect Yen Ryu. Lin Xian did not mind. He used the Azure Dragon Palm and slapped forward. Bang bang. Two low voices sounded like muffled thunder. However, this time Lin Xian exclaimed in surprise. This was because the two of them were not sent flying like the previous geniuses. Instead, they were fighting against each other. Although the two of them were trembling and their expressions changed, they still managed to resist the Azure Dragon Palm. This greatly surprised Lin Xian. It seemed that these two people were even more terrifying than the previous Sky Prides. However, these two people had concealed themselves too deeply. If he had not asked Yen Ryu, these two people probably would not have stood up. Where did he come from? How could he be so strong? The two young men were even more shocked and fear appeared on their faces. They finally understood why the other party was able to send so many Sky Prides flying. This power was too terrifying. If it were not for their strong physiques, they would have been sent flying long ago. Even so, the chi and blood in their bodies were churning, and their bones were trembling. In the next moment, the two of them roared angrily, and an unparalleled domineering aura surged out of their bodies. They finally suppressed the trembling. Buzz. The two of them were like an iron wall, blocking Lin Xian's path. Kid, these two are not humans. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon said, I can sense a demonic aura from their bodies. Hearing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes in surprise. If they're not humans, could they be demons? Thinking of this, a dark golden light appeared in his eyes. Then he looked forward. His pupils constricted because he could see the two people in front of him clearly with the heavenly secret god eyes. As expected, they're not humans. They were draped in human skin, and under the human skin there were many scales. They're demons. One is a demon wolf and the other is a demon fox. They're not ordinary demon beasts but demons. The scales on their bodies are too terrifying and abnormally hard. No wonder the two of them can resist my Azure Dragon Palm. The physique of a demon is much stronger than that of a human. What's going on? Why are the two demon powerhouses protecting Yen Ryu? He remembered that the dark red divine dragon said that Yen Ryu also had a demonic aura. Could it be that Yen Ryu is also a demon? But why does she look exactly the same as Zhao Shui? Could it be that the previous Zhao Shui was a demon? Lin Xian could not understand. He felt that there was a mystery about the other party that he could not see through at all. Therefore he wanted to figure it out. In the next moment he took a step forward, and the aura on his body suddenly erupted. Countless sword chi formed a wave of sword chi in front of him and surged forward. You're courting death. The two demon powerhouses were furious. Their eyes were red, but they did not reveal their true forms. Obviously they were afraid of something. However, although they did not reveal their true forms, the strength of these two people could not be underestimated. Their strength had reached the level of a top-notch human mighty figure. With a cold shout, the demon wolf youth waved his hand, and a green light flickered, forming a green mountain beside him. On the other side, the fox demon raised his hand and shot out a light screen. It seemed that the two of them did not dare to reveal too much of their abilities as demons. Instead, they imitated the abilities of humans. However, they could not block the sword chi at all. In an instant, the two of them were sent flying. There was no obstruction in front of him again. Lin Xian walked forward. However, at this moment, another four figures quickly rushed out. As soon as the four figures appeared, they instantly charged towards Lin Xian. This shocked everyone. God, this Yen Ryu's background is indeed terrifying. Just these guards are too terrifying. Each of them was a top-notch mighty figure. Who exactly is this person? How can he bring so many guards with him? One had to know that young Master Qianshan and the young master of the Ting family did not bring so many people. Crack crack crack. Seeing another four people charging over and blocking the path, Lin Xian frowned. He snorted coldly and waved his sleeve. The sea god's eyes spread out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The entire space was frozen. Thick frost appeared on the bodies of the four top-notch mighty figures. They were frozen in mid-air and turned into four ice sculptures. What? They were frozen. Four top-notch mighty figures were frozen in an instant. These people were about to go crazy. They did not dare to imagine what kind of method this was. The four frozen mighty figures could not resist at all. Not only were their bodies frozen, but the chi, blood, and spiritual power in their bodies were also frozen. Chapter 23:15. Not only were their bodies frozen, but the chi, blood, and spirit power in their bodies were also instantly frozen. Only a pair of terrified eyes could still move. Don't let your subordinates attack anymore. I have no ill intentions. Lin Xian looked at Yen Ryu. However, I feel that you look very similar to an old friend of mine. Is that so? Yen Ryu spoke. Her voice was very pleasant, but there was no emotion in it. The world was so big and there were as many people as the stars. It was not strange for two people to look similar. Young master, you've got the wrong person. I'm not an old friend. However, I feel that you are. Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and a dark golden light appeared in his eyes again. He wanted to see if there was anything else hidden under this human skin. This time he heaved a sigh of relief, because he realized that the beauty in front of him was different from the previous guards. Those people were demons in human skin. However, there were scales inside. Yen Ryu was human from the inside out, but there was a demonic aura on her body. This made Lin Xian suspect that perhaps the other party had cultivated some kind of demonic technique to create this demonic aura. She was still human. Therefore Lin Xian was even more certain that she was Zhao Shui. In front of him, Yen Ryu waved her jade-like hand, and the ice and snow quickly melted. The 4 powerhouses who were frozen were also rescued. Whoosh! They quickly came to Yen Ryu's side and looked forward with solemn expressions. What a terrifying method. The surrounding martial artists and mighty figures were shocked. Such terrifying ice could instantly freeze a top mighty figure. However, it was so easily resolved by Yen Ryu. It seemed that this Yen Ryu was not only beautiful, but her strength was definitely terrifying. It seemed that she had already surpassed the top mighty figures. Could it be that she had reached the realm of a peerless mighty figure? They gasped. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The other party was very strong, definitely not weaker than him. At this moment Yen Ryu said softly, "The banquet is almost over. Let's go." With that, she turned around and walked into the distance. Whoosh! The crowd automatically moved aside. Beside her, there were 4 powerful cultivators protecting her. The 2 injured demon clan cultivators in the distance also flew over to Yen Ryu's side. Lin Xian didn't make a move. His eyes flickered as he said in a clear voice, "Fairy Yen, I think we will meet again." Since the other party was unwilling to acknowledge him, there was no need for him to lay all his cards on the table. Anyway, he already knew Yen Ryu's name. Moreover, she was so famous. If he wanted to meet her, it would be very easy. Maybe. Yen Ryu didn't turn back. She led the group of people and quickly left. After Yen Ryu and the others left, everyone sighed. After all, she was such a beautiful woman. It was good to be able to take another look at her. Lin Xian returned to Murong Qingqing and the others. Today's harvest was quite bountiful. He saw 2 old friends. One was Yen Ryu, the other was Luoli. Among them, Luoli also told him a lot of information about hell and the nest of 10,000 dragons. This was very important to Lin Xian. Since he had already received the news, there was no need to stay here. Therefore he prepared to leave. Murong Qingqing didn't have any objections. However, Zhao Zhirua was a little worried. She said, "Junior brother Lin, are you sure you want to leave just like that?" Right now, the outside was probably already filled with experts from the City Lord Mansion. If he went out now, he would probably be walking into a trap. Then what should he do? He couldn't stay here forever, right? Lin Xian smiled. "That's not my personality." As he spoke, he pulled Murong Qingqing and took the lead to leave. On the side, Xiao Kuang Linger and the others also left. Zhao Zhirua sighed and shook her head helplessly. At the critical moment, at most, he would take out Murong Qingqing's identity as the Saintess. He believed that these people from the City Lord Mansion wouldn't dare to mess around. Was this kid going to leave? When the surrounding tens of millions of cultivators saw Lin Xian and the others walking out, their hearts immediately rose. Going out at this time was really courting death. Sure enough, young Master Qianshan, Teng Kuan, and the other young geniuses all revealed sinister smiles when they saw this scene. They had finally waited for this moment. As long as they chased the other party out, they could guarantee that the other party would be chopped into meat paste in an instant. "Let's go too." Young Master Qianshan, Teng Kuan, and the others stood up. They quickly swallowed pills to suppress the injuries in their bodies. At the same time they walked out, because they wanted to see the other party being killed with their own eyes. Only then could they resolve the hatred in their hearts. Seeing young Master Qianshan and the others walking out, the surrounding King Realm experts exclaimed. They also moved one after another, wanting to watch the battle. After all, such an exciting thing probably wouldn't happen even once in a few hundred years. And above the Moonflower Palace, a figure wearing a green veil walked out. She held onto the railing and looked down, her eyes flickering. "Master, don't we have to take action?" There were a few women in red clothes around her. They asked respectfully. Luoli shook her head. No need. With Brother Xian's strength, there's definitely no problem. However, the rules of the Moonflower Palace are not allowed to be broken. This time, other than Brother Xian, kill all the people who made a move in the moon-concealing flower palace. Yes. Cold killing intent appeared in the eyes of the surrounding women in red. Outside the Moonflower Palace, the atmosphere was incomparably solemn. The place was filled with people. Some of them were experts from the City Lord's mansion, but of course, there were also experts from other families. They had all come after receiving the message from inside. Especially those from the City Lord's mansion, all of them had grave expressions. Because someone actually dared to injure young Master Qianshan. This made them unable to believe it. In Qianshan City, there was still someone who dared to attack young Master Qianshan? Wasn't this courting death? If it weren't for the fact that fighting was not allowed in the Moonflower Palace, they would have already charged in. But at this moment they had already sealed off all the exits. As long as the other party dared to come out, they would instantly capture him. Soon the door of the Moonflower Palace opened and a group of people walked out. Seeing this scene, the experts outside all held their breaths. Their gazes were like sharp swords as they looked over. But soon they frowned. Because the person who came out wasn't the enemy they had imagined, but a woman. A beautiful woman. Beside her, there were a few figures with incomparably powerful auras. Feeling countless gazes looking over, the experts beside the woman all became nervous. Each of them emitted a terrifying pressure. They were ready to attack at any time. The beautiful woman waved her arm and stopped her subordinates. In the next moment she took a step forward and walked forward. The experts behind her followed. Throughout the entire process, the experts from the City Lord's mansion and the elders of the other families did not make a move. Soon Yen Ruyu and her group left through the air. Chapter 23:16. Among them, young Master Qianshan, the eldest and second young masters of the Teng family, and the young prodigies of the other large families were the first to come out. As soon as they came out, they all rushed forward to meet up with the powerhouses and elders of their families. Then their gazes were cold as they gritted their teeth and stared at the exit. Finally, under their gazes, another group of people walked out. They're here. Young Master Qianshan shouted coldly, and his handsome face became ferocious. The powerhouses of the governor's mansion behind him were filled with killing intent. Clang. In an instant they pulled out their swords and sabers, ready to attack at any time. Kill? Young Master Qianshan waved his hand, and the powerhouses of the governor's mansion immediately charged forward. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 8 figures moved together like flickering shadows and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. Boom, boom. A terrifying attack, the king's domain, blasted downwards without any regard for its own life. Umph. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the dragon sword domain on his body instantly surged out, turning into a true dragon that attacked in all directions. Bang, 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 bang. 8 figures flew backward. Each of them was pierced by countless sword chi and nailed to the void. Those who block me will die. Lin Xian's voice was cold, and a murderous aura surrounded his body like a god of death. His terrifying voice instantly spread in all directions. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. The powerhouses at the front had ugly expressions on their faces. The martial artists who were watching the battle behind felt their scalps go numb. He was too powerful, even more powerful than when he was in the Moonflower Palace. Brat, so what if you're arrogant? This is not the Moonflower Palace, where there are no scruples. Do you think you can compete with the entire governor's mansion? Young Master Qianshan shouted coldly. On the other side, the eldest young master of the Teng family, Teng Kuan, and the other young prodigies also sneered. There were countless people around them, and each of them was extremely powerful. The murderous aura on their bodies condensed into a cage that imprisoned the entire space. Is that so? You're very confident, but you can give it a try. Lin Xian looked around disdainfully, not caring at all. Beside him, Murong Qingchen also stopped smiling as a horrifying aura spread out from her body. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. Come, line up and let this emperor roast you all. Xiao Kuang, Xiao Ling'er, and Zhao Zhirua also secretly circulated their spirit energy, preparing to attack at any moment. Charge. Kill him. Young Master Qianshan coldly snorted. This time more than 10 experts rushed out. Not only that, the family elders around the City Lord's mansion also moved out. In an instant, 50 to 60 figures flickered in the air. Seeing this scene, the martial artists watching the battle in the Moonflower Illusion Palace were extremely shocked and did not dare to come out. They began to worry about Lin Xian. Such a powerful lineup, I'm afraid it's impossible to stop them, right? Lin Xian looked at this scene and snorted coldly. Then he said, "Do it, Tiger." Murong Qingqing and the Crimson Divine Dragon stood out. Beside them, Xiao Kuang also said, "Miss Zirua, help me look after Linga." As he spoke, Xiao Kuang took a step forward and pulled out the battle blade on his back. Zhao Zirua sighed. She didn't attack. Instead, she came to Linger's side. At the same time, she released a screen of light that enveloped the two of them. "You still want to resist? You're overestimating yourself." In front of them, young Master Qianshan, Teng Kuan, and the others sneered. With so many experts attacking together, no one could resist. Lin Xian also made his move. The Crimson Divine Dragon spat out balls of dragon flames in front of it. Murong Qingqing released a 5-colored lotus. The bright petals danced in the air. Lin Xian was even more powerful. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand continued to grow bigger and bigger. It was like a huge mountain that pressed down. In an instant, the 5 experts in front of him were killed by the terrifying sword light. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying explosions sounded between heaven and earth. Terrifying energy swept in all directions. Countless cracks appeared in the void. Soon, young Master Qianshan and the others screamed, "Damn it, this is impossible." They realized that the other party had actually blocked this terrifying attack. There were more than 50 experts. How could the other party block them? The other party only had 4 people. They had seen Lin Xian's strength. They had also heard of Xiao Kuang's reputation. He was an expert from the Hong sect. However, what was going on with that red snake and that beautiful woman? Their auras were incomparably powerful. The terrifying divine powers that they used could tear an area apart. These were 4 peerless experts. Their scalps tingled. Young Master Qianshan and Teng Kuan roared crazily. Kill them all." The two of them were about to go crazy. They didn't expect that the experts from their families couldn't do anything to the other party. But dozens of figures quickly charged over. At the same time, the surrounding people joined forces to set up the array. The Crimson Divine Dragon snorted coldly. It waved its dragon claws and tail, and terrifying energy surged out. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A cold light flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body operated crazily. A terrifying energy burst out and directly tore the entire sky apart. Demon Seal. Brother Jean. Sky shattering. The 3 killer moves were unleashed and killed in all directions. Kill. Lin Xian waved his ancient sword again. Chaotic pattern. A terrifying sword mark instantly tore the void apart. The power of space engulfed many powerhouses. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a god of war. He was unstoppable. A dragon-shaped phantom appeared on his body. It was extremely terrifying. "Oh no! This kid is too strong. Hurry up and escape." Many elders of the families cried out in alarm. Originally, they thought that they could join forces to kill the other party. But now it seemed that it was not the case at all. The other party's strength was completely beyond their imagination. That was definitely comparable to the attack of a peerless mighty figure. If they continued to fight, they would probably be killed. Therefore, for a moment, many families had the intention to retreat. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Many elders and young prodigies of the families left. The Crimson Divine Dragon looked at this scene and snorted coldly. "You want to leave? Not so easy." He waved his dragon claws. Dark clouds covered the sky and heavy rain poured down. Rumble. Thunder and lightning fell, and it was a scene of destruction. The elders and powerhouses of the families were enveloped by the rain and thunder, and they screamed miserably. That was not ordinary rain. When the raindrops hit their bodies, they instantly pierced through their bodies. And those thunder and lightning were like heavenly tribulations, striking them until they screamed miserably. In an instant, 3 families were destroyed. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This is too terrifying. Clouds and rain. This is really the divine ability of the legendary dragons. It seems that this is definitely a flood dragon. The martial artists who were watching the battle also cried out in alarm. On the other side, Murong Qingqing used the flying flower divine ability. Petals danced in the sky and it was abnormally beautiful. But in an instant, it killed the powerhouses of 2 families. This scene was also shocking. Xiao Kuang used a terrifying saber technique and also killed many powerhouses. Chapter 23:17. Save me. Upon seeing this, young Master Qianshan's scalp went numb, and he did not dare to fight at all. He retreated backward. The powerhouses from the governor's residence rushed forward one after another. Clang. The 5 of them joined forces and blocked Lin Xian. However, the 5 of them were also pushed back. 3 of them were seriously injured and 2 of them even vomited blood. Their eyes were filled with shock. Upon seeing this, Lin Xian's body swayed. Instead of continuing, he turned around and attacked Teng Kuan and the eldest young master of the Teng family. Damn it! Teng Kuan and the eldest young master of the Teng family roared furiously. At the same time, the 2 of them retreated frantically. The 3 elders of the Teng family walked out. They quickly used their king's domains and rushed out from their bodies. The silhouettes of 3 terrifying serpents appeared. This was their king domains, and they seemed to be real as they bared their fangs and brandished their claws. As soon as the 3-headed soaring serpents appeared, they instantly pounced on Lin Xian. The space in front of them was instantly shattered and countless black holes appeared. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Lin Xian brandished his ancient sword and released 3 streaks of sword chi to fight against the serpents. Boom boom boom. The 3 streaks of sword chi collided with the soaring serpents, causing a shocking collision. Crack. The sword chi was destroyed by the soaring serpents, and the soaring serpents dimmed and were much weaker than before. Damn it! Upon seeing this, the 3 elders from the Teng family looked gloomy. Their opponent's sword chi is so powerful. Lin Xian squinted his eyes. It seems like the Teng family has some tricks up their sleeves. The silhouettes of the soaring serpents were very similar to some ancient demonic beasts. Is this family related to the demon clan? He did not know, but he had decided that he would not let these people leave alive. Buzz. Next, he stomped his foot, and the demon-slaying sword formation instantly covered the surroundings. Countless blood-red sword chi rushed up from the ground and attacked the eldest young master and Teng Kuan who were in the crowd. You're courting death. Upon seeing this, the elders from the Teng family shouted angrily and wanted to stop them. However, the demon-slaying sword chi was too terrifying. It carried boundless killing intent and instantly shrouded Teng Kuan and the eldest young master. Get lost. The 2 young geniuses roared angrily. Armor appeared on their bodies, light screens and other layers of defenses to resist. Whoosh whoosh. They dodged frantically, but the space they were in was completely enveloped by the sea of blood. They had nowhere to hide and could only take it head-on. Ping ping ping. In just a single clash, their armor, shields and light barriers were shattered, leaving terrifying cracks on them. The 2 screamed crazily, but they couldn't dodge at all. At the moment of crisis, a ferocious look appeared in their eyes and green scales appeared on their bodies. Those green scales were abnormally ferocious, covering their entire bodies as soon as they appeared. Boom. Clang, the sword chi slashed on their bodies, producing a loud sound, and the 2 of them were sent flying. Lin Xian furrowed his brows and said lightly, because the result was beyond his expectations. Originally, the frightening sword aura should have been able to directly split the 2 of them apart. However, it had only injured the 2 of them and not killed them. When he saw the green scales on his opponent's body, his pupils shrank. The demon clan. Lin Xian was too shocked because the people who protected Yen Ryu previously had such scales on their bodies. However, the other party was wearing human skin. However, why did the Teng family have such scales too? Could it be that the other party was also from the demon clan? He was too shocked. The King Almighties in the surroundings also exclaimed. It was rumored that the Teng family was a half-demon clan. It seemed like it was true. Yes, it was said that their ancestor was born from the union of a soaring serpent and a human powerhouse. They originally thought it was just a legend, but it seemed like it was true. Sounds of discussion could be heard. After Lin Xian heard it, he narrowed his eyes. A half-demon clan. He didn't expect the Teng family to have such a background. On the opposite side, the Teng family's eldest young master and Teng Kuan also spat out a mouthful of blood. Then the scales on their bodies flickered and quickly healed their wounds. There was a terrifying sword mark on their bodies that cut open their scales, revealing deep white bones. Fortunately, they had activated the demon clan's bloodline in an instant, causing their bodies to become abnormally strong. In addition to the scales on their bodies, they were not cut in half. However, their expressions were incomparably gloomy and cold. Brat, you're courting death. I'll definitely kill you today. Teng Kuan gritted his teeth, and the Teng family's eldest young master was surrounded by a murderous aura. When the elders saw this, they no longer hid their strength and scales appeared on their bodies. Illusory figures of soaring serpents circled behind them. These figures of soaring serpents circled in the air and condensed into an even larger soaring serpent that was 30,000 meters long. What's this? Everyone was stunned, but someone also exclaimed. This is their bloodline power. They were from the same clan, so their bloodline power could naturally fuse together. Heavens, this attack is too terrifying. It's definitely at the level of a peerless almighty. I wonder if this brat can resist it. Roar. The 30,000-meter tall soaring serpent danced in the air and covered the entire sky. As soon as it appeared, it kept roaring and its voice shattered the 9 heavens. Then the gigantic body and head charged towards Lin Xian at high speed. The runes in the sky flickered, and the light pierced through the 9 heavens. This scene made everyone's heart beat wildly. The people behind quickly fled into the Moonflower Palace because there was a formation in the palace that could protect their safety. The experts outside also put up their armors or shields to defend themselves. Because just the aftermath of this energy was enough to kill an ordinary almighty. If their son were to be hit head-on, he would definitely be killed instantly. Not good. Retreat. When Xiao Kuang saw this, he quickly retreated, protecting Xiao Ling-er and retreating into the Moonflower Palace with Zhao Zhirua. Only Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing and the dark red dragon were left in front. The 3 of them were radiating light, resisting the terrifying energy impact. At this time Lin Xian also moved. The ancient sword in his hand slashed forward, and a bright sword light slashed down, turning into a huge dragon that danced in the air. That huge dragon also seemed to be real, and it was extremely powerful. The moment it appeared, it roared in the void. Boom boom boom. The illusory figures of dragons and serpents fought in the sky. Everyone was shocked. This scene was too shocking. The battle between the 30,000-meter tall soaring serpent and the terrifying huge dragon shook the 9 heavens. They had probably never seen such a scene in their lives. However, what shocked them even more was Lin Xian's strength. One had to know that the soaring serpent in front was formed by countless Ting family experts, and it was equivalent to a peerless almighty attacking. Even so, the other party was still able to block it. They were in disbelief. What level has this brat reached? Has he reached the level of a peerless almighty? Boom. Just as their thoughts were running wild, the scene in front of them changed again. Chapter 23:18. There was a huge explosion in the sky. The soaring serpent wailed as its head was crushed by the dragon's claw. Terrifying rune light scattered in all directions. Brr. A loud dragon roar sounded, then it turned into a sword light and slashed down. Buff. The soaring serpent phantom was split into 2 halves. Light scattered down, and its huge body caused cracks to appear in the space. Buff. Buff. The Ting family's martial artists all vomited blood and flew backward with pale faces. They covered their hearts in shock. Damn it. Impossible. This is impossible. How can he be so powerful? I don't believe it. The Ting family's powerhouses went crazy, especially Ting Kuan and the eldest young master of the Ting family. They were terrified as if they had seen a ghost. That was a young man who was similar to them. How could he resist the attack of an unparalleled almighty? They didn't dare to imagine. Even though they were top-notch geniuses, they were still far from being able to match up to an almighty figure. Because it was an insurmountable chasm. However, the other party did it. Their faces were filled with shock. Young Master Qiansan's pupils constricted. This scene shocked him. He realized that he had underestimated the other party. He had only seen the other party's aura on the Yin-Yang sect's Yin-Yang saint and saintess. In other words, the other party was a saint. Thinking of this, his heart beat wildly. The saint was the top existence among the young people. Generally, at this level, the saint and saintess basically had the combat power of an unparalleled almighty. Although they were also prodigies, they were not on the same level as the saint and saintess. Therefore, when he thought of this, his expression became extremely ugly. In the next moment, he roared and quickly retreated. This kid was a saint, let the unparalleled almighty take action. Young Master Qiansan roared and retreated frantically. When the surrounding people heard this, they were all stunned. What a saint prodigy! Heavens, who the hell is this kid? Could it be that he was really a saint from a large sect? They didn't dare to imagine, but at this moment, everyone was terrified and unconsciously retreated. The tens of millions of martial artists in the Moon Shameful Palace were even more shocked when they saw this scene. They originally thought that the City Lord's mansion and the major families could easily kill the other party. But unexpectedly, the situation was far beyond their expectations. A young man with a long sword had actually intimidated hundreds of experts. This was simply too shocking. For a time many people fled. After all, although they were powerful, they were still unable to fight against the battle strength of an almighty. Therefore they decided to leave temporarily. He would wait for the true peerless experts of the clan to arrive before killing the other party. You want to leave? How could this be? Lin Xian sneered. He wouldn't let his enemy leave. Even if these people were from the city lord's mansion and the big families, it was the same. The dark red divine dragon raised its hand and formed a formation that suppressed the surroundings. Seeing that their way was blocked, these people's faces turned pale. They turned their heads and roared ferociously, "Damn brat! You dare to stop us? You're dead meat. My city lord manor is nearby, and very soon, a peerless expert will be alerted." Young Master Qiansan roared. Is that so? Then let's see if the peerless experts of your city lord's mansion are faster, or if I'm faster. I hope you can hold on for a while. As he spoke, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and a terrifying aura quickly surged from his body. In the next moment, a shocking change appeared on his body. Half of his majestic body turned pitch black and burned fiercely. The other half turned azure, like a divine crystal. Seeing this change, everyone was shocked. Meanwhile, young Master Qiansan screamed. Damn it, how could this be? The yin-yang superpower. He was stunned because he realized that this scene was very similar to the yin-yang superpower on his body. Right now he was half black and half white. His opponent was not using the yin-yang superpower, but the ice and fire superpower. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to imitate the yin-yang sex cultivation method? What a joke. This kind of cultivation method had a mental cultivation method and an internal circulation route. It couldn't be wrong at all. Did the other party think that he could imitate the appearance of the yin-yang sex cultivation method? Was he out of his mind? However, in the next moment, his body trembled because two long swords appeared in front of him. One was a long sword of fire, and the other was a long sword of ice. The power of ice and fire was released, which was very similar to the scene of the yin-yang saber. Come, have a taste of my ice and fire swords. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up into a smile. He had used the great dragon sword soul to display this ability after observing the yin-yang blade. Damn it, you're deliberately mystifying me. I don't believe that your power can surpass my yin-yang saber. Young Master Qianshan gritted his teeth. The black and white sabers appeared in front of him again and slashed out. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the ice and fire swords also flew out. Bang! The two superpowers collided in the air, tearing the void apart. The yin-yang qi filled the air, and the power of ice and fire rampaged. Boom, boom, boom. Young Master Qianshan kept retreating and vomited blood again. His face was full of shock. That was because his yin-yang saber was shattered again. His opponent's terrifying ice and fire swords were quickly approaching him. He had no choice but to ask the powerhouses next to him for help. Soon, 7 powerhouses joined forces to block the ice and fire swords. However, their arms were numb and their faces were full of shock. 2 of the powerhouses even had their arms cut off. Damn it, how could the power be so strong? Why are you so surprised? Don't panic, the best part is yet to come. Lin Xian looked at his opponent and formed a seal with his palms again. Buzz. The ice and fire swords quickly transformed into a yin-yang saber just like before. What? Yin-yang blade, how did you do it? That's impossible. How do you know the yin-yang sex superpowers? Young Master Qianshan was about to go crazy. The people around him also opened their mouths wide in shock. Heavens, how did this brat do it? If I'm not wrong, you haven't mastered the yin-yang saber yet, right? Look at the yin-yang sex superpowers. However, I don't think you can do it. Today I'll show you what the yin-yang saber is. As Lin Xian said that, he waved his hand. The yin-yang saber in front of him flashed rapidly and formed a terrifying long saber. It was black and white and emitted a terrifying power. No. How did you do it? Young Master Qianshan went crazy. Indeed, the yin-yang superpowers were the yin-yang saber. For example, the yin-yang saber could be merged into one. However, his current strength was not enough, so he could not merge them. However, his opponent did it so easily. He could not believe it. Among the younger generation of the yin-yang sect, there were no more than 4 people who could do that. Although he was considered a prodigy, he could not do it at all. Chapter 23:19. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the terrifying yin-yang saber descended mercilessly, instantly enveloping young Master Qiansan. No! Young Master Qiansan screamed crazily and fled like a madman. The yin-yang energy in his body circulated rapidly. He wanted to escape. Beside him, the 13 mighty figures also roared angrily, and their king domains quickly surged out to resist. Boom. In the next moment, the yin-yang saber slashed down, and the 13 king domains were instantly shattered. The 13 mighty figures' bodies were split in half, and they fell to the ground. As for young Master Qiansan, his body stiffened and he was stunned in midair. A bloodline appeared between his eyebrows and blood instantly flowed out, dyeing his face red. His body split open from the middle with a crack. Plop. Young Master Qiansan's body fell into a pool of blood. Although it was split open, his eyes were filled with shock. He did not expect that he would be killed by his own ultimate technique, the yin-yang saber. It was probably the greatest irony. What? Young Master Qiansan is dead. The 13 mighty figures were all killed. Everyone went crazy. The saber was too terrifying. Nothing could stop it. When the other families saw this scene, they were even more frightened. This young man even dared to kill the people of the governor's mansion. They were afraid that this young man would not let them go. Especially Elder Zhang of the Teng family, his face was extremely ugly. The eldest young master of the Teng family and Teng Kuan were so scared that their faces turned pale. They were no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, it was replaced with a hint of fear. They just wanted to escape from here. Let's go, let's go. Everyone fled crazily, bombarding the array formation in all directions. They wanted to escape. Whoosh. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the space domain instantly flew out, covering the entire space. The sword chi that filled the sky scattered mercilessly like a divine sword descending from the sky. Screams sounded. The powerhouses of the families in the distance were all pierced by the divine sword and nailed to the ground. No one could resist it. This was because this was the strongest power. Clang, clang. The other elders and young geniuses of the family screamed in pain as they were all killed. The Teng family could still resist. They relied on the power of their bloodline and merged with their bodies to form a terrifying soaring serpent shadow that firmly protected them. However, in the face of the terrifying divine sword attack, they were still affected. Many of them coughed up blood and some of them even had their energy sucked dry. They directly turned into human skins and fell to the ground. However, the core members, eldest young master and Teng Kuan, were not killed. Seeing this, Lin Xian snorted coldly and charged forward. The Azure Dragon's large hand reached out and grabbed forward. Teng Kuan and the Teng clan's eldest young master screamed crazily, their faces filled with despair. Those elders' faces were also pale. If they were caught, they would definitely die. However, at this moment, the void behind them suddenly split open and a hand reached out. Ping ping ping. The pitch-black palm collided with the Azure Dragon palm in midair. After that, the two of them clashed 18 times in a row, and the void in the sky exploded. There was nothing that could withstand this terrifying energy. A peerless mighty figure had made his move. Fortunately, the Moonflower Palace had a super strong array that blocked all the attacks. Looking at this scene, they were extremely shocked. Lin Xian furrowed his brows even more. He could feel that this person was extremely terrifying. He was definitely a peerless almighty. Ka. His Azure Dragon palm shattered, turning into countless energy that scattered in all directions. The pitch-black palm enveloped Teng Kuan and the others, pulling them into the spatial crack and disappearing. In the Moonflower Palace, although there was a defensive array, those cultivators were still shaken to the ground by the terrifying force, and their faces were pale. They trembled. A peerless almighty figure. A peerless almighty figure had finally appeared. Needless to say, this should be the Teng family's peerless almighty figure. However, what made them even more shocked was that Lin Xian was actually able to fight evenly with a peerless almighty figure. It was really too shocking. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He did not expect that the first peerless almighty figure was not from the City Lord Mansion, but from the Teng family. This really surprised him. At the side, the dark red divine dragon flew over. Kid, do you want to chase after it? Behind it, Murong Qingqing, Xiao Kuang Ling, Zhao Zhirua and the others also walked over. However, before they could speak, a black rune suddenly appeared under their feet. It spread in all directions and quickly formed a pattern of the 9 netherworld flower. Whooshed in the next moment, the 9 netherworld flower bloomed and completely enveloped Lin Xian and the others. They disappeared on the spot. What happened? In the Moonflower Castle, when those people saw this scene, they were all stunned. They looked around and realized that Lin Xian and the others had actually disappeared. Did they leave? They did not know, but when they felt the surrounding energy disappear, they walked out in bewilderment. In the next moment, they trembled again because a few powerful figures descended like an ancient demon mountain. They were pressed to the ground again. These were 3 figures. Their bodies were shining with light, making them look like war gods. Their bodies were cold and their gazes were like divine lamps, making people not dare to look at them directly. Who made a move here? One of them asked coldly. As for the other two, their gazes scanned their surroundings. Young master. Suddenly they screamed and waved their hands and the corpse on the ground floated up. When the three peerless almighties saw this scene, their faces instantly changed. They roared crazily and their voices shook the 9 heavens. In an instant, millions of warriors fainted, and the remaining almighties vomited blood, their faces full of fear. Who dares to kill the young master of the city lord mansion? The 3 peerless almighties roared at the sky and stared at the remaining warriors. Those warriors' scalps went numb and their bodies trembled. Boom. A peerless almighty stretched out his hand like a demon king and instantly grabbed another almighty. Speak, who is it? Who did it? The almighty trembled and his face was full of fear. He was about to speak. But in the next moment his body suddenly exploded. The peerless almighty grabbed with his hand and began to forcibly collect the other party's soul. Soon, with a wave of his sleeve, the blood mist in the sky disappeared completely. Everyone was shocked. Almighty was killed just like that? It was like cutting grass. Was this the power of a peerless almighty? Terrifying. It was this kid. A peerless almighty flicked his finger, and the image that he collected from the other party's memory condensed in the sky. It was a handsome young man in a red robe. It was Lin Xian's image. It was this kid. He was the one who killed young Master Qianshan. Everyone listen up. Find him at all costs. We must catch this kid. From now on, seal off Qianshan City. We must not let him escape. At the same time, contact all the forces in Qianshan City. Once they find him, kill him without mercy. A cold voice sounded, and the warriors of the city lord mansion moved quickly. The 3 peerless almighties quickly rose into the air. The 3 of them stood in 3 directions and quickly formed seals with their hands. Chapter 23:20. However, they didn't know that Lin Xian had been teleported away from Qianshan City. Of course, Lin Xian and the others didn't leave on their own accord. They were teleported away. The 9 nether flower was very mysterious. It wrapped Lin Xian and the others and teleported them 100,000 miles away. Whoosh! With a flash of light, Lin Xian and the others appeared in a barren mountain. As soon as they appeared, Lin Xian's great dragon sword soul was instantly activated. The dragon sword realm enveloped the surroundings and protected the others. Murong Qingqing, the dark red divine dragon, and the others instantly regained their consciousness. They looked around cautiously. There was a barren mountain around them. There was no one around except for a few crows cawing. However, when they arrived, the crows flapped their wings and quickly left. In front of them stood a group of people. They were Teng Kuan and the other cultivators of the Teng family. Boom, boom. In the sky, a large black ship slowly descended. The ground trembled and countless cracks appeared. The ship was 100 meters long and there were various palaces on it. The ship was pitch black as if it had rushed out of hell. It was covered with black flowers. The black flowers were exactly the same as the flowers that wrapped Lin Xian and the others. They were the 9 nether flowers. On the black ship, 4 figures appeared. Among them, 2 figures sat there like emperors, overlooking the common people. The other one held a black 9 nether flower in his mouth and looked at Lin Xian and the others with a sneer. The last one flashed and directly appeared in front of Teng Kuan and the others. His speed was so fast that many powerhouses couldn't see him clearly. How did he move? Oh no, it's them. When Xiao Kuang saw this scene, his pupils instantly shrank and his face became incomparably ugly. Brother Xiao, you know them? Lin Xian asked. Xiao Kuang's face turned pale. It was them, the 4 Julie demons. He didn't expect them to come here. The 4 Julie demons. Hearing this name, Lin Xian frowned. It seemed that the 4 of them had a strong background. These were 4 extremely terrifying devil kings. They killed people like scything flax and had no scruples. They were extremely terrifying. The 4 of them moved together. Among them, the great devil and the second devil were peerless almighties. Although the 3 devils and 4 devils were not peerless almighties, they were not far off. He had far surpassed ordinary pinnacle almighties. He was probably half a peerless almighty. What was even more terrifying was that the 4 of them were working together. Therefore no one could stop them. He did not expect the Teng family to summon the 4 Julie devils. Brother Lin, let's hurry up and escape. Xiao Kuang's complexion was incomparably pale. Although he was usually very arrogant, facing the 4 devils of Julie, he was extremely shocked. This was because the four of them together were equivalent to three peerless almighties. However, just as Xiao Kuang finished speaking, the black figure in front of him turned around and sneered. "Wanna run? Do you think you can run in front of us?" He was the fourth of the four devils. At this moment, the fourth devil's gaze locked onto Lin Xian and the others. He sneered. "I didn't expect you kids to be so powerful. You're able to make us attack. However, your luck has come to an end. In front of us, you should obediently kneel and wait for your death. Of course the three beauties can live. It's been a long time since I've seen such beauties. Coincidentally, we're lacking a few cultivation cauldrons. Come over and obediently become our cultivation cauldrons." The fourth devil spoke with a hint of malevolence in his voice. Hearing this, Murong Qingqing snorted coldly. Zhao Zhirua and Ling Er's expressions changed. "You dare to attack the Hong sect?" Xiao Kuang gritted his teeth and said. "So what if we attack you?" At this moment, Teng Kuan also snorted coldly. "You killed my third brother and committed a heinous crime. Even if we kill you, what can you do? Moreover, we're in the wilderness. Even if we kill you, the Hong sect won't know that we did it. But don't worry, it won't be that easy for you to die. I'll capture all of you and let you know how it feels to live a life worse than death." The eldest son of the Teng family also snorted coldly. The death of their third brother had infuriated them greatly. Moreover, in the previous process, their family had also lost many elite experts. They would definitely take revenge for this. Do you think that's possible? Do you think that you can save your lives just because you have four evil spirits? What a joke. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. Hearing this, Teng Kuan and the others were stunned. They could not believe their ears. In front of them, the fourth devil was stunned. A murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Not only that, but the faces of the other three devils on the black ship also turned gloomy. Their gazes were as sharp as knives that swept across the void. How dare someone look down on them? And the person was a young man? It seemed that he was ignorant. He had a death wish. The fourth devil sneered. "Kid, it seems that you're still young and ignorant. I guess you haven't heard of us, the four devils of Jioli? Well, I'll let you know today that there's always someone better than you. You're the one who killed third young master? Don't worry, I'll torture you to death," the fourth devil said coldly. He looked to be in his 30s, but no one knew his true age. He was definitely more than 1,000 years old. His face was pale and his eyes were extremely ferocious. As he turned, there was terrifying energy. Buzz. He stretched out his palm, and it instantly turned into a black mountain that covered the sky in front of him. As soon as the black palm appeared, the expressions of Zhirua and the others changed because the other party was too powerful. He had far surpassed the top mighty figures. Moreover, he was only the fourth devil. There were three more terrifying demon kings above him. Especially the great demon, no one knew what realm he had reached. They only knew that he was extremely terrifying. "Do you really think you can kill me? What a joke." Lin Xian looked at the black palm that was approaching him and snorted coldly. Buzz. Countless sword chi appeared behind him and turned into an azure dragon that floated in the air. The terrifying dragon shadow blotted out the sky. As soon as the dragon shadow appeared, the expressions of Teng Kuan and the others changed again. Even the fourth demon was frowning. That was because he felt an extremely terrifying aura. "Brother Lin, let me deal with him." However, at this moment Xiao Kuang spoke in a deep voice. Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. Murong Qingqing and the others were also very confused. In front, the fourth devil sneered. "Xiao Kuang, you dare to attack me? Did you forget what happened 300 years ago? 300 years ago? What happened?" Lin Xian and the others were confused. It seemed that this wasn't the first time Xiao Kuang had dealt with the fourth devil. Hearing the fourth devil's words, Xiao Kuang's expression became extremely gloomy. His eyes emitted a piercing cold light. "You went too far 300 years ago. Today I'll make you pay." Chapter 23-21. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned, but he did not stop him. There must be hatred between the two of them. Alright, let them fight first. Xiao Kuang was a top-notch powerhouse. Although it would be difficult for him to deal with the fourth demon, he might still be able to fight. More importantly, Lin Xian was confident that he would be able to save her in the nick of time. Therefore he did not make a move. The dragon shadow also returned to his body. Fourth demon, die. In front of him, Xiao Kuang roared crazily, and a terrifying saber light descended from the sky like lightning. The surrounding mountains exploded in an instant, and terrifying cracks appeared on the ground. This scene caused many people's expressions to change. The people from the Teng family were also shocked. This Xiao Kuang is so strong. Yes, he was seriously injured 300 years ago. Not only did his cultivation not regress, but it also improved by leaps and bounds, becoming a top-notch powerhouse. It's very heaven-defying. A few elders discussed in low voices. On the side, the eldest young master snorted after hearing this. So what? The fourth demon is an existence that surpasses top-notch powerhouses. No matter how powerful Xiao Kuang is, he's not a match for him. You're courting death. As expected, the fourth demon sneered. 300 years ago I could seriously injure you with a palm and I can do the same now. In the next moment he slapped out with his palm. A terrifying palm wind surged crazily, and the black palm shadow was like the Styx River, surging in the sky and enveloping the entire sky. The entire world began to tremble under the might of the palm. Boom boom boom. In the next moment the two attacks collided and a dazzling light burst out. Shocking sounds like thunder resounded in all directions. The surrounding cultivators of the Ting family sealed their hearing and put up a defense to resist. On Lin Xian's side, Murong Qingqing also raised her hand, and a five-colored lotus flower enveloped everyone. Bang! In the next moment Xiao Kuang was sent flying, and a trace of blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. His face turned pale. It couldn't be helped, the two of them were not on the same level at all. Although Xiao Kuang was considered a terrifying powerhouse and a top-notch powerhouse, he was still lacking in front of the fourth demon. After all, the fourth demon was an existence that surpassed top-notch powerhouses. As expected, I'm not a match. When Teng Kuan and the others saw this scene, they sneered in disdain. Ling on the other hand, cried out in shock. She was so scared that her face lost all color. Murong Qingqing, Zhao Zhirua, and Lin Xian also frowned. However, when they sensed that Xiao Kuang wasn't heavily injured, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Humph, I've said it before, you're not my opponent at all. Up ahead, the fourth devil sneered. Just as he had expected, although 300 years had passed, the other party was still unable to withstand his palm strike. Although the other party was also a pinnacle almighty, there was no way he could fight against Lin Fan. This palm strike was enough to severely injure the other party. However, in the next moment he was stunned. This was because he discovered that even though he was coughing up blood, he didn't seem to be seriously injured. The other party stopped steadily on the ground, and his aura didn't weaken by much. What's going on? Why is it like this? This brat can actually block my attack? The fourth demon's expression sank. The people from the Teng family frowned too, and the smiles on their faces disappeared. The fourth demon lord must not have used his full strength. Otherwise Xiao Kuang would be dead for sure. That was for sure. How could Xiao Kuang be a match for the fourth demon lord? Just wait and see, he'll be killed in the next palm strike. Many people discussed among themselves. The fourth demon snorted coldly. Indeed, although the previous palm strike was terrifying, it wasn't his full strength. Against a pinnacle almighty he didn't need to use his full strength. In the next moment, his frown deepened. This was because he discovered that the other party was smiling. This smile was very strange and it made the fourth demon frown. He snorted coldly, "Damn it, what are you smiling about? Do you believe that I'll twist your head off for you?" However, Xiao Kuang sneered, "I'm laughing at how pitiful you are. It seems that your strength hasn't changed much compared to 300 years ago. However, I've become a pinnacle almighty from an elite almighty. Fourth demon, you've regressed. It won't be long before I surpass you completely." Presumptuous. Nonsense. The fourth demon sneered, "I haven't improved? Do you think that it's easy to improve at my level?" He snorted coldly, "How many people haven't improved in 1,000 years? Kid, you're too weak. You haven't reached my level, so you don't know how difficult it is to improve. You want to catch up with me? Stop dreaming. Today is the day you die. You won't have the chance." Is that so? That's not necessarily true. I'll show you how much I've improved in the past 300 years. Xiao Kuang looked up to the sky and laughed. His body shone brightly. Demon Slayer Saber. With a roar, he held the saber with both hands and slashed forward. Upon seeing this sight, everyone immediately turned their gazes toward Zhang Xian. The fourth demon frowned. However, after waiting for a long time, no saber light flashed. This caused everyone to be extremely puzzled. Even Lin Xian and the rest narrowed their eyes. What's going on? Zhao Zhirua was puzzled. On the opposite side, Ting Gong and the others laughed disdainfully. Ah! They thought that it was some kind of ultimate move, but it didn't have any power at all. Is this the strength of the Hong sect? They snorted disdainfully. The fourth demon sneered coldly. You don't know what's good for you. What do you think your fancy moves can do to me? Kid, if you don't have any other ultimate moves, don't blame me for killing you. Boom. As soon as he finished speaking, a black saber light appeared in the sky and slashed downward. The attack was too fast and more importantly it was too sudden. No one had noticed it before. Even Lin Xian was surprised. The fourth demon didn't expect it either. Therefore he was hit by the saber and was sent flying for 3,000 meters. Boom. 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 The fourth demon flew backward, knocking over countless mountains. Terrifying cracks appeared in the void. The fourth demon's black robe was torn, and his hair was disheveled. His armor didn't break, but blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth. This was because the saber attack had caused his body to churn. This was because he was strong. If it had been an ordinary top-notch almighty, he probably wouldn't have been able to withstand this saber strike. How dare you hurt me? The fourth demon reached out and tore his black robe, revealing his black armor. His eyes were cold as killing intent erupted from his body. He was furious. He didn't expect his opponent to hurt him with a single move. Although the attack didn't cause any fatal damage, it was no different from a slap to his face. The other cultivators of the Ting family were also stunned. They were afraid because they realized that they wouldn't have been able to dodge such an attack. They might even have been killed in one move. Damn it, how did this guy have such a terrifying saber technique? Chapter 23-22. Damn it. How could this guy have such a terrifying saber technique? What kind of divine ability was that? Their faces were gloomy. On the other side, Murong Qingqing, Lin Xian and the others also exclaimed. Ling clapped and cheered. Great, kill them. Brother Xiao, you can do it. Go and die. In front, the fourth demon roared crazily and pounced over like a demon king. Terrifying black ghost claws surged in the sky. Swoosh, swoosh. Xiao Kuang did not take it head-on. He quickly used his movement technique and dodged. This was because he knew that there was a gap between them. Taking it head-on would not end well. He quickly pulled away and dodged the terrifying claws. At the same time, the demon-slaying saber attacked again. Buzz. The terrifying black saber light appeared and disappeared mysteriously as if it had come from another world. It appeared behind the fourth demon in an instant. Then it slashed the fourth demon's body. Bang. The fourth demon was sent flying again and landed on the ground. Boom. A deep pit appeared on the ground and dense cracks spread in all directions. The fourth demon roared at the sky, extremely furious. He did not expect that he would be hit again. This was intolerable. However, before he could stand up, the terrifying saber light in the sky slammed him down again. Boom. A total of 3 black saber lights slammed the fourth demon into the ground. There was no trace of him at all. There was only a pitch black hole. Off. In the sky, Xiao Kuang was panting and his face was pale. It was obvious that using this move consecutively consumed a lot of his energy. However, his eyes were abnormally bright like starlight as he stared at the ground. Damn it. How could this be? When the cultivators of the Teng family saw this scene, their expressions changed again. Especially the eldest young master, Teng Kuan, and the elders, their faces were filled with fear. They knew how powerful the fourth demon was. He could even kill a top almighty as easily as blowing off dust. But now he was actually slammed into the ground. It was unknown if he was even dead or alive. Xiao Kuang in front of them was already so powerful? On the black ship, the other 3 figures also looked in their direction. Among them, the great demon and second demon were expressionless. The third demon played with the 9 netherworld flower in his hand and sneered. Interesting. However, it was still not enough. It seemed that they were very confident in the fourth devil. Sure enough, in the next moment, the ground split open, and a figure rushed up like lightning. Demonic chi revolved around his body, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His entire being was filled with killing intent. It really was the fourth demon. The murderous aura on his body was monstrous. He was covered in blood and his face was abnormally ferocious. Although the previous slashes did not take his life, he was still injured. More importantly, he couldn't stand this kind of thing. The fourth devil was so angry that his lungs felt like they were about to explode. Not too long ago, he had been able to send an ant flying with a single slap. But now he was injured? This huge contrast made him unable to accept it. Damn brat. I'm going to kill you. The fourth devil was enraged. The demonic chi on his body pierced through the heavens and the earth, causing the surrounding clouds to churn and cover the entire sky. Boom. Boom. In the sky, dark clouds covered the city. Dozens of demonic claws appeared, covering the sky and covering the earth as they clawed downward. Demonic shadows appeared in the surroundings. They held black sickles in their hands and were abnormally terrifying. Boom, boom. As soon as these demonic shadows appeared, they pounced forward without any regard for their lives. Soon, it was enveloped by demonic chi and earth-shattering sounds of fighting could be heard. Xiao Kuang and the fourth devil were fighting together. Although Xiao Kuang's demon-slaying saber was incomparably terrifying and unpredictable, it still could not threaten the fourth devil's life. On the contrary, the fourth devil used several terrifying divine abilities to injure Xiao Kuang. In fact, one of the moves almost took his life. At this moment, Xiao Kuang's body was broken and blood flowed, but he still refused to stop. He roared towards the sky and used all his strength to strike out with the demon-slaying saber again. Whoosh! This saber appeared behind the fourth devil and instantly cut open his armor and smashed into his body. Blood spurted out in an instant, dyeing the armor red and even the sky red. This was the blood of the Demon King. It was extremely terrifying and instantly pierced through the void. The ground was also dyed red, turning into countless drops of blood and sweat. He was injured. Seeing this scene, Teng Kuan and the others exclaimed in disbelief. Even the third devil, who was on the black ship, let out a soft exclamation. Clearly he was also taken aback by what was happening. The fourth devil's expression was even more distorted. The other party had actually injured him and even destroyed his armor. Unforgivable. He struck out with both palms and a huge black hand covered the sky and earth, instantly enveloping Xiao Kuang. Crack, crack, crack. Countless bones in Xiao Kuang's body were broken as he flew backwards. However, the fourth devil obviously did not let him go. In the sky, 300 demonic claws appeared and tore through the void, wanting to crush Xiao Kuang. Brother Xiao. Seeing this scene, Ling exclaimed in shock, her face pale. Zhao Zhirua's heart was also in her mouth. She was extremely nervous. However, at this moment, a sharp sword light suddenly appeared in the sky and poured down like the Milky Way. In an instant, the 300 demonic claws were cut apart. Bang, bang. Countless black gas rolled and the 300 demonic claws disappeared in the sky. At the same time, a five-colored lotus caught Xiao Kuang and gently placed him on the ground. What? He was blocked. On the opposite side, the fourth devil was stunned. The people from the Ting family exclaimed. On the other side, Zhao Zhirua, Ling and the others all surrounded him. Zhao Zhirua even took out countless spiritual herbs and fed them to Xiao Kuang. Xiao Kuang coughed out 2 mouthfuls of blood and ate the pills. Then he smiled. Don't worry, I won't die. However, it was enough to injure the fourth devil. Indeed, although this palm had injured Xiao Kuang, he was very happy. This was because 300 years ago he was seriously injured by a single move from the fourth devil. However, 300 years later he could successfully injure the fourth devil. This change made Xiao Kuang very satisfied with himself. However, on the opposite side, the fourth devil's face was extremely gloomy. The murderous aura on his body turned into demonic claws that pierced through the sky. Damn it! Who was it? Who dared to stop him from killing? Did they not want to live anymore? He swore that no matter who it was, he would kill them. In the next moment he saw it. A red-robed young man walked out again. Brat, it's you. He saw clearly that it was this brat who had slashed his 300 demonic claws. How dare you interfere with my business? Die. The fourth devil was furious. The demonic claws on his body stretched out again, turning into a black demonic mountain that pressed down on Lin Xian. It covered the sky and the earth, instantly shattering the void. When this palm came out, the cultivators from the Teng family cheered. This was because they could feel that the fourth devil was really angry. This attack was much more powerful than the previous one. Chapter 23-23. The fourth demon was really angry. This attack was much more powerful than the previous ones. It seemed that the other party would not be able to block it. Lin Xian snorted coldly as he looked at the other party's monstrous claws. In the next moment, countless sword lights gathered on his body and formed a giant sword that slashed forward. Boom. As the sword slashed down, the void split open. Monstrous waves of air slapped in all directions like seawater. Soon the black claws were cut apart. Crack, crack, crack. The terrifying claws were instantly split into pieces and turned into demonic chi that dissipated in all directions. Bang. The fourth demon also screamed and kept retreating. Damn it, what happened? Hearing the scream, the Teng family members hurriedly looked over. Then they gasped in disbelief. They saw the fourth demon holding his arm with a ferocious expression. Blood flowed down his arm and dyed the ground red. A sword mark almost severed his opponent's arm. How could it be? The fourth demon was injured again. At this moment, even the three demons on the black ship could not remain calm. He stopped smiling and his eyes shone with a cold light. This was because he did not expect the other party to be able to injure the fourth demon so severely. He had to admit that the other party's strength was definitely beyond his imagination. Damn brat, how dare you hurt me? I will definitely tear you into pieces. The fourth demon roared at the sky. His black hair danced wildly and turned into a river that danced in the air. The terrifying sound waves shattered the 9 heavens. Boom. Endless demonic chi flowed through his body and turned into a demon king. He was 10,000 meters tall and stood tall. Its body was pitch black as if a demon god had descended to the human world. Kill. With a roar, monstrous killing intent rolled out like a huge wave. This caused everyone's bodies to tremble. The martial artists and elders of the Ting family frantically retreated tens of thousands of miles away to watch the battle. This was because they did not dare to get too close. The aura in front was too terrifying. A mere fourth demon dares to fight against me? Lin Xian sneered in disdain. He snorted coldly and countless sword lights surrounded his back. The dragon sword territory instantly surged out. Then it turned into a giant dragon and roared as it flew forward. Boom, boom. An earth-shattering collision sound rang out as the huge Devil King was directly pierced through, its body splitting into 2 halves. The fourth devil let out a miserable shriek and was sent flying backward. His body was a bloody mess and more than half of his armor had been shattered. Countless bones in his body were broken. What? Defeated? Upon seeing this, the people from the Ting family in the distance widened their eyes. They could not believe that the terrifying fourth demon had been defeated by a single sword strike. Wasn't this method a little too terrifying? You're just a piece of trash. How dare you attack me? Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored him. Instead, he stared at the black ship in the distance. He pointed his sword at them. The 3 of you can come at me together. The eyelids of Teng Kuan and the others twitched fiercely when they heard this. Not to mention him, even Zhao Zhirua, Xiao Linger and the others were completely stupefied. For a moment, the entire scene was incomparably silent. Damn it! Damn it! Off in the distance, the fourth devil flew back. That sword strike just now had sent him flying for 10,000 miles. His body was severely injured, and he was currently taking pills to recover. His body swayed and he arrived nearby with a cold gaze. He glared at Lin Xian as if he were a demon, roaring incessantly. However, he did not make a move, because he did not dare to. That strike just now was too shocking and it made him fearful. I'll kill you. On the black ship, the third demon snorted coldly. His body swayed and he instantly disappeared. Then he appeared in front of Lin Xian. Buzz. When the third demon appeared, the surrounding space quickly trembled and countless cracks appeared. It could not withstand this terrifying power at all. Is the third demon going to make a move? Behind him, Teng Kuan and the others cried out in surprise. They regained their hope. This was because the third demon was even more powerful than the fourth demon. With the third demon making a move, they would definitely be able to kill him. The people from the Ting family secretly watched from afar. In front of them, the third demon snorted coldly. His eyes were unusually cold, and they were like 2 divine spears that pierced through the void. As the third of the 4 demons of Jili, he was very powerful. Although he had not become a peerless almighty, his strength was not inferior to a peerless almighty. In fact, he could even contend against them. Could be said that he was very terrifying. Third brother. Seeing the third demon make a move, the fourth demon also shouted in a low voice. Fourth brother, go to the side and recover first. I'll kill him. The third demon said coldly. Then countless rays of light surged from his body. The purple light that filled the sky revolved and turned into a purple raccoon. It was very huge, like a purple mountain that covered the sky. Buzz. He carried countless purple lights and charged forward. This was the other party's king's domain. It was very terrifying. The third demon seemed to be really angry. He immediately displayed his powerful strength. Boom. The terrifying purple raccoon came over. Lin Xian also waved the ancient dragon abyss sword and slashed out. The terrifying ancient sword continued to grow in the air, forming a huge dragon that danced in the sky and crushed the purple raccoon in front of it. This was the chaotic heaven destroyer sword. Lin Xian was becoming more and more familiar with it. The power of a heaven-level sword technique coupled with the heaven-level ancient sword could be said to be very terrifying. Even a peerless almighty would have a headache if they saw it. not to mention the third demon in front of him. Boom. Bang. The ancient dragon sword was incomparably sharp. It descended from the sky and was very terrifying. It directly slashed at the purple raccoon. Boom. Boom. The two collided and burst out with dazzling light. An earth-shattering sound was heard, and the purple light that filled the sky broke apart. The purple raccoon screamed and was sent flying. The third demon also kept retreating and broke through the void. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his face was filled with shock. He was injured. He was actually injured. A young man in his 20s injured him with a single sword strike? He couldn't believe it at all. One had to know that he was the third demon. He was very terrifying, and his strength was comparable to a peerless almighty. Moreover, he was not careless when he attacked earlier. He used the king's domain as soon as he attacked. Could be said that he was very powerful. Even so, he was still injured by a single sword strike. Damn it! How is this possible? The fourth demon's eyelids twitched. He couldn't believe it at all. His third brother was also injured. On the black ship, the great demon and the second demon also frowned. In the distance, the people of the Teng family were scared out of their wits. Is this kid still human? How can he be so powerful? Ah, damn kid, I'm going to kill you. In front of him, the third demon roared crazily. His eyes were cold and the killing intent on his body soared into the sky. Buzz. In the next moment, he waved his arm and 9 purple gourds appeared in the sky. Each of them shone like stars and revolved around his head. Whoosh, whoosh. Chapter 23-24. Those black shadows were all very powerful yakshas. They were huge like giants and wore black battle armor. They held black triangular halberds in their hands. Demonic chi surged from their bodies. Kill. With a furious roar, 9 terrifying yakshas charged forward together. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian also frowned because he could feel how terrifying those yakshas were, so he was not careless. The dragon sword realm surrounded him and countless sword chi interweaved. Behind it, terrifying phantoms appeared one after another. True Dragon, Fire Phoenix, Qilin, Black Tortoise, White Tiger. 9 powerful demonic beasts charged into the sky. They were completely condensed from sword chi, but they possessed the power of the great dragon sword soul, so they were lifelike as if they were real divine beasts that had revived. 9 huge divine beast phantoms appeared in the sky together, forming countless projections that roared in all directions. Damn it, what kind of divine ability is this? The fourth demon saw this. His pupils contracted. The Ting family's martial artists felt their scalps go numb. Even the great demon and the second demon frowned, and their eyes emitted a cold light. Damn it! Destroy. The third demon was also extremely shocked, but now he could not stop. He could only kill the other party with all his might. With a furious roar, endless power poured into the 9 yakshas, and the 9 yakshas burst out with a black light. Like 9 black suns they charged forward. Boom. A shocking battle broke out in the sky. The 9 yakshas went straight for the 9 divine beasts. It was very tragic. However, not long after, the 9 yakshas wailed and were directly killed by the powerful divine beasts. Then Lin Xian, Ting Kuan, and the 9 powerful divine beasts charged forward together. The third demon's expression changed instantly, and his eyes were filled with deep shock. This was because the pressure from the 9 divine beasts was too terrifying. The pressure caused his muscles to hurt and even his bones to creak. He wanted to escape, but in the next moment he found that countless blue ice had appeared in the surrounding space, and it instantly turned into a world of frost. It completely enveloped him. Not only that, but countless frost also appeared on his body, and in an instant he was frozen into an ice sculpture. Great! He's frozen. Ling Erjiruo and the others exclaimed. On the other side, the people from the Teng family had ghastly looks on their faces. However, in the next moment they also cried out in surprise. That was because the ice statue in front of them had suddenly exploded. The third demon coldly shouted and countless rays of light shined from its body, breaking apart the terrifying ice. At the same time, beneath his feet, the terrifying purple civet cat appeared once again. The purple raccoon's body blossomed with flames. It held a purple shield in its hand and a purple spear in its right hand. His aura seemed to be able to pierce through the 9 heavens. Therefore, in the blink of an eye, the third devil was able to resist the ice that filled the sky. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The shadows of 9 divine beasts circled around him, and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand continuously slashed down. The 9 divine beast phantoms roared towards the sky, shattering the void. Lin Xian also used his ultimate move, Reverse Chaos. A terrifying sword light flashed and exploded with a powerful force, causing the entire void to tremble. A pitch-black crack instantly flew out from the long sword and extended forward. Not only that, the 9 divine beast phantoms beside him were also attacking frantically. Boom. The third demon controlled his civet cat territory and quickly counterattacked. The purple shield continued to enlarge like a heavenly gate, blocking in front of them. Whoosh. The purple civet cat waved the spear in its hand, and it pierced through the void like purple lightning. Boom. Boom. Terrifying energy exploded, and the void cracked like a piece of cloth. Light shone in all directions. The purple spear pierced through the 9 divine beast phantoms, causing 3 of them to be directly penetrated. The other few were also affected and their light dimmed. However, the 9 divine beast phantoms and reverse chaos attacks were mixed in with the civet cat's body. Boom. Boom. The purple civet cat kept retreating, and countless cracks appeared on the purple shield in its hand. Boom. The purple shield shattered into countless pieces. The civet cat's body was also severely injured, and a crack instantly appeared on its body. Sky shattering. Demon sealing. Another 2 ultimate moves were used. The purple civet cat kept retreating, and terrifying cracks appeared on its body again. In the end, it dissipated and merged into the third demon's body. The third demon also screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood. A few sword marks appeared on his body as if he was struck by lightning, and he was sent flying. Third brother. Seeing this, the fourth demon screamed crazily. The members of the Ting family were completely stunned. They were like puppets and their minds were blank. What happened? Even the third demon was defeated? How was that possible? Was this brat already this strong? Could it be that his strength was truly that of a peerless almighty? When they thought of that, they gasped and their bodies trembled uncontrollably. The fourth demon's face was ugly. He gritted his teeth and his body flashed. He quickly caught the third demon and fed him a pill. The third demon stopped bleeding, but his face was abnormally pale. His handsome face was also extremely distorted. Third brother, let's attack together and kill him, the fourth demon said. The third demon nodded after hearing that. He stood up, and his body was wrapped in purple flames, forming a purple armor. A purple spear appeared in his hand, and a purple shield with a civet cat pattern appeared in his left hand. The fourth demon snorted coldly, and a black sword appeared in his hand. Countless vengeful spirits surrounded him. Kill! Kill! 2 angry roars were heard as the 2 demons attacked again. Their attacks were like heavenly thunder, tearing the void apart. Boom! Boom! They tore apart the divine beasts in front of them and quickly charged toward Lin Xian. Even if the 2 of you attack together, it won't be enough. Lin Xian roared and his voice was like thunder. Sword chi burst out from his body, and the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand slashed out quickly. He slashed out dozens of times in a row, and the terrifying sword chi emitted a dazzling light. It was like a shocking rainbow that cut through the void. The sword chi that filled the sky completely enveloped the third and fourth demons. Boom! Boom! The light dissipated, and the third and fourth demons vomited blood and were sent flying again. The sound of bones breaking could be heard from their bodies. They flew for thousands of miles before they stopped. This shocking scene made everyone from the Ting family open their mouths in shock. Their faces were filled with horror. What kind of combat strength could send the third and fourth demons flying at the same time? This kid was too terrifying. Zhao Zhirua also exclaimed, and Linger's beautiful eyes were wide open. Xiao Kuang was also shocked. Could it be that Brother Lin was already a peerless almighty? Boom! While they were shocked, the first and second demons on the black ship were even more shocked. Among them, the first demon's eyes emitted a terrifying light. It was like 2 black death rays that pierced through the void. Chapter 23-25. Second demon stood up immediately. He was about 4 to 5 meters tall, and when he stood up, his murderous aura was overflowing, giving off a strong sense of oppression. They had no choice as the 2 of them were too shocked. Although third demon and fourth demon were not supreme mighty figures, they could definitely contend against supreme mighty figures when they joined forces. However, they were still sent flying by the other party. One could imagine that the other party had the combat power of a supreme mighty figure. They could not help but be shocked that a prodigy in his 20s had such combat power. It was no wonder that Teng Kuan had summoned them. Kid, I'm here to take your life. Second demon's voice was loud and clear. However, Lin Xian shook his head. You can't do it. Let your boss do it. He shifted his gaze away from second demon and looked at the great demon next to him. Hearing that, the great demon frowned while second demon roared angrily. Kid, you're courting death. He could not tolerate the fact that Lin Xian dared to look down on him. Ka. Black armor quickly appeared on his body with flames burning on it, making him look like a demon from hell. His bell-like eyes carried an indescribable majesty. Whoosh! A giant axe appeared in his hand. As he swung it, it easily shattered the void. I told you you're no match for me. Get lost. Lin Xian frowned when he saw that second demon was about to attack. He snorted coldly and his voice was filled with boundless killing intent. Go to hell. Second demon was really angry. He took large strides in the air and with each step he traversed 1,000 miles. Boom. In an instant he arrived above Lin Xian. Whoosh. He swung the axe in his hand as if he was cutting vegetables, trying to split Lin Xian apart. This was a kind of arrogance. Previously, Lin Xian had already shown that he had the strength of a supreme mighty figure, but second demon still dared to descend from the sky. One could only imagine how much the two demons valued their own strength. Kid, go to hell. Second demon's eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. The axe in his hand let out a rumbling sound as it came crashing down like a mountain. Boom. Lin Xian brandished the ancient dragon abyss sword and clashed with the heaven-splitting axe. Instantly, the sound of metal clashing erupted. It was like a sudden clap of thunder that spread out in all directions. Raging waves appeared in the sky, and hundreds of thousands of cracks spread in all directions. At this moment, Murong Qingqing, the third demon, the fourth demon, and the martial artists of the Teng family in the distance all held their breaths and carefully watched the battle. This was because this was a battle that belonged to the true Almighties. Sounds of collisions rang out in the sky. Lin Xian took a few steps back, and the huge sky-splitting axe was also sent flying. With the two of them at the center, all kinds of light rushed into the sky, and terrifying symbols flickered in all directions. The two of them were evenly matched in this exchange. The third and fourth devils were completely shocked. The second devil's face sank. He had cultivated for thousands of years, but he couldn't beat a young man in his 20s. This was unbearable for him. Therefore, in the next moment he let out a furious roar and swung the heaven-splitting axe in his hand. 9 axes and 18 strikes. The second demon displayed a terrifying attack, and a shocking power fiercely blasted over. Lin Xian didn't resist at all. He stepped on the demigods and semi-devils and rapidly dodged. Countless afterimages appeared in the sky, and he instantly dodged the 18 terrifying attacks. Jianghu. The ancient sword swept out like a dragon swinging its tail, and fiercely collided with the heaven-splitting axe. Clang. The second demon was repelled. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and he quickly attacked the black ship. His real target was the great demon sitting there. What? He actually wanted to attack the great demon. Seeing this scene, everyone sucked in a cold breath. Xiao Kuang and the others were extremely shocked, and the third and fourth demon's pupils shrank. The second demon roared angrily, "Kid, you've gone too far." He was really too angry. He didn't expect that he would be ignored by the other party after displaying such a powerful strength. This was unbearable. Therefore, in the next moment, he let out a furious roar and his eyes turned red. A sinister smile appeared on his face. No one has ever dared to ignore me. Kid, you've committed a heinous crime. I'm going to let you taste the taste of regret. At this point, the tall figure swayed again. This time he didn't chase after Lin Xian. Instead, he stared at Xiao Ling'er and the others. I'll let you watch your companions die one by one. I'll enjoy these beauties for you first. The second demon laughed out loud. He stretched out a huge palm and grabbed forward. That palm was like the palm of an ancient god. It instantly covered a part of the sky and covered Murong Qingqing and Zhao Zhirua. Seeing this, the third and fourth demons sneered and Teng Kuan and the others laughed wildly. "Ah, that kid is an idiot. Let's see how his companions die." They were too happy. They didn't expect that the other party would make such a stupid mistake. Not good. Zhao Zhirua, Ling'er, Xiao Kuang and the others' pupils shrank, and their faces became incomparably ugly. Although they were also geniuses, they were nothing compared to a peerless almighty. Even if the three of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to block an attack from a peerless almighty. The only thing they could do now was to dodge. However, the other party's palm was like a heaven and earth cage, directly imprisoning the space they were in. It was very difficult to break it. "Damn it, how dare you attack Ling'er? The Hong sect will definitely not let you off." Xiao Kuang roared crazily. Indeed, Ling'er's identity was very special. If anything happened to her, the Hong sect would definitely go crazy. However, the second demon had already gone crazy. He didn't care about the Hong sect's revenge. What he wanted to do now was to kill the people in front of him to vent the hatred in his heart. Damn it. Seeing that the two demons were unmoved, Xiao Kuang roared angrily, and Zhao Zhirua exclaimed. However, at this moment Murong Qingqing snorted coldly, and a bright light burst out from her body. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon screamed. Big guy, you dare to have designs on me? You're courting death. I'll definitely cut you into 18 pieces and cook you later. The dark red divine dragon was indeed angry. What did he mean? Did he think that they were ants? What a joke. Since when did he, the dark red divine dragon, become an ant? Therefore at the next moment he snorted coldly and his body swayed, suddenly leaping up. Boom. He swung his dragon tail and directly hit the sky-splitting axe. A thunderous sound rang out and a huge ball of energy shot up into the sky. At this moment, the wind and clouds in a radius of 10,000 miles changed, completely enveloped by a terrifying energy, and it was impossible to see clearly. What happened? Someone actually blocked Second Brother's attack. Chapter 23-26. The third and fourth demons furrowed their brows. That shouldn't be the case. Other than that kid, how could anyone else fight against him? Even Xiao Kuang didn't have the strength to do so. Xiao Kuang couldn't even defeat the fourth demon, let alone the second demon. However, they were soon stunned. That was because they saw a figure flying back from the sky. His huge body smashed through the void. Countless cracks appeared along the way. What's going on? Second elder brother was sent flying. How was that possible? Who was it? Who was it? Could it be that the powerhouse of the Hong sect was here? They were too shocked. Even the great demon frowned. His eyes were like two black magic lamps again, emitting a deathly light as if he wanted to see everything clearly. The cultivators of the Teng family were even more stunned. The scene at this moment was still beyond their imagination. Damn it, who was it? The second demon stopped in the sky. He wasn't injured, but his arm was numb. He couldn't even use his strength for the time being. The blood in his body was boiling. Fortunately, he suppressed it or he would have spat out a mouthful of blood. His two bell-like eyes shone with a terrifying light. His eyes were filled with shock and surprise. The reason for that was because this scene had truly exceeded his expectations. Originally, he thought that it would be easy for him to kill these young people after the kid left. In fact, he could even kill them all with one blow. Who was it? He couldn't figure it out. However, he was certain that it was a peerless powerhouse. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to force him back. Of course, it's your grandpa dragon. Amidst the light that filled the sky, an arrogant voice rang out. For a moment, countless people looked over. The second demon waved his arm, and the huge sky-splitting axe split all the light in front of him. He wanted to see who it was. What? It's you. The second demon was stunned when he saw who it was. He wasn't the only one. Everyone was stunned. That was because they realized that the figure in front of them wasn't a powerhouse from the Hong sect, but a dragon. Of course, they didn't think that it was a dragon. That was because they didn't believe that real dragons existed in this world. However, they thought that it should be some kind of flood dragon. What made them even more shocked was that they had originally thought that it was just a pet of that kid. But who would have thought that he would be so powerful? The dark red divine dragon waved his dragon claws and said coldly, "Big guy, how dare you hit your grandpa dragon? I'll definitely kill you today." Courting death. The second devil was truly enraged. Being looked down upon by a 20-something-year-old brat had already made him very angry. Who would have thought that he would be despised by a snake? His lungs were about to explode from anger. Therefore, in the next moment, he roared and swung the heaven-splitting axe in his hand. "Oh my, you still dare to attack me? It seems like you really don't know what's good for you." The dark red dragon sneered. Just as he was about to make a move, the person beside him was even faster than him. He turned into a bolt of lightning and dashed out. The one who attacked was naturally Murong Qingqing. To be honest, she was also furious. At this moment, her delicate little face was covered with ice. Before the dark red divine dragon could make a move, he had already made the first move. With a wave of his jade-like hand, a five-colored lotus flower flew out. Boom, boom, boom. The lotus flower collided with the heaven-splitting axe, causing a huge explosion that caused the entire space to tremble. The heaven-splitting palace kept retreating. The light on it dimmed and the second devil retreated again. Bang, bang, bang. He created more than 10 black holes in the void before he stopped. Then, his bronze eyes shone with a crazy light. Damn it, that's impossible. He's crazy. He's really crazy. How could there be someone who could block his attack? I don't believe it. My eyes must be playing tricks on me. The third and fourth devils roared crazily. The people of the Ting family were also dumbfounded. What did they just see? A beautiful woman blocked the second devil's attack. Heavens, who is this person? First, that brat displayed the strength of a peerless almighty. Then a dragon appeared. Now a beautiful woman appeared. Could it be that the other party had 3 almighty powerhouses? They trembled at the thought of this. The other party had a total of 6 people, and 3 of them were peerless almighties. How dare they attack such a team? Weren't they courting death? Teng Kuan and the others wanted to slap themselves when they thought of how arrogant they were and how they looked down on the other party. We were wrong. We were all wrong. The elders of the Ting family were also frightened. These people were definitely terrifying. We shouldn't have provoked them. Damn it, who are you? The second devil roared crazily. To be honest, he had also gone crazy. In fact, some people even began to doubt themselves. How could a few young people from the other party have the same strength as him? He even suspected that he had fallen into an illusion. Murong Qingqing snorted coldly and did not answer. She said in a sweet voice, "Ruffian dragon, leave this person to me." "All right." The dark red dragon shrugged. Then he looked around and cracked the corners of his mouth. "Then I'll play with the 2 of you." He fixed his eyes on the third and fourth devils. Immediately, the third and fourth devils trembled, and a hint of fear appeared in their hearts. They wanted to ask for help, but they discovered that no one could save them. The second devil was stopped by the beautiful woman, and the great devil was personally attacked by that young fellow. The people from the Ting family were no match for them at all. "Damn it, how dare you look down on us?" The third devil roared furiously while the fourth devil gritted his teeth. "That's right. Do you really think that you can fight against us just because you blocked second brother's attack? You're too naive. I'm guessing that you must have used a secret technique to forcefully increase your combat power. Just watch, we'll kill you in a while." The third and fourth devils soared into the sky and charged madly at the dark red dragon. Soon a great battle broke out. The dark red dragon and Murong Qingqing exchanged blows with their opponents. On the other side, Lin Xian swayed and appeared in front of the great devil. The great devil was a middle-aged man. His face was as sharp as a knife and his eyes were cold. He was as emotionless as the god of death. At this moment he was sitting on a black devil chair. "Come, let me see what you're capable of. How dare you assassinate me?" Lin Xian pointed his sword in front of him. The great devil's expression became even colder. "Young fellow, I have to say that you've exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect you to have the combat power of a peerless almighty. You must have reached the level of a saint. However, you're too arrogant. Do you think that you can fight against me just like that? Well, it's been a long time since I've killed a saint. Today I'll use you as a sacrifice." The great devil slowly stood up. Chapter 23-27. Take out your strongest attack, otherwise you won't have a chance. The great demon snorted and looked down from above. In his hand, countless wisps of black gas circled around, forming a death scythe. His eyes were abnormally cold, and his body carried a powerful aura as if a peerless demon king had descended to the human world. Whoosh! With a wave of his arm, the black scythe turned into a huge black moon and slashed forward. In an instant it enveloped Lin Xian. Terrifying black gas filled the air, and a murderous aura pierced through the 9 heavens. This attack was terrifying to the extreme, and it was even stronger than the second demon's attack. Obviously, the great demon was the most terrifying one. Boom! Lin Xian's ancient sword slashed horizontally, colliding with the black scythe. After that attack, the 2 of them moved like lightning as they exchanged blows quickly. This was a huge battle. Lin Xian was a young genius and his combat strength was extremely strong. In addition, with the Dragon Source Ancient Sword and the Great Dragon Sword Soul, his combat strength was shocking. On the other side, the Great Demon was even more powerful, and he had a fierce reputation in the 9 Underworlds dynasty. He could be said to be a peerless powerhouse. Now the 2 powerhouses were exchanging blows, causing the sky to fall and the earth to rend. In an instant, violent energy swept in all directions. Not good. Retreat. Xiao Kuang, Zhao Zhirua and the others quickly retreated. On the other side, the Ting family's martial artists also retreated frantically. They retreated 50,000 miles away. Clang. Another shocking attack. The collision of the 2 weapons was like a clap of thunder. Whoosh. At this moment, Lin Xian attacked again. he clenched his right fist, and black flames burned like a black sun as he directly punched towards the great demon. The great demon snorted and raised his left palm to meet the black fist. A low voice sounded and a terrifying light shot into the sky. This scene was too terrifying, as if two gods of war were fighting. Damn it, how is this possible? How can he defeat the great demon? Everyone was stunned, especially Teng Kuan and the others. One had to know that this was the great demon, the most powerful of the four Jili demons. He had lived for more than 2,000 years and was extremely terrifying. Ordinary peerless powerhouses would immediately turn and run when they heard the name of the great demon. They would not dare to fight him at all. One could imagine how terrifying a great demon was. But today, a youth in his 20s was actually able to fight a great demon to a draw. Not to mention the warriors of the Teng clan, the second devil, the third devil, and the fourth devil were all extremely shocked. Although they were fighting with their opponents, their focus had always been on the great devil. Now that they saw the two of them fighting to a draw, they felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Their minds went blank. Impossible, damn it. I don't believe it. How could this brat contend against Big Brother? The second devil howled in rage. However, while he was distracted, the flower petals suddenly surrounded him and slammed into his armor. It made a tinkling sound. The second devil staggered backward, coughing up mouthfuls of blood. Damn it. I'll fight you to the death. The second devil let out a howl of rage as he ignored the god devil. He held the heaven-splitting axe with both hands and swung it at Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing, on the other hand, used the Jade Lake's great divine ability to fight against her. On the other side, the 3 demons and 4 demons were screaming in agony. They were now surrounded by danger. Their opponent's divine ability was too terrifying, and the flames in the sky made them feel like they were being barbecued. Moreover, they felt that their opponent was clearly toying with them. Otherwise they would have been killed long ago. In front of them, the great devil snorted coldly with an extremely cold expression. To be honest, he had never expected this scene. He knew that his opponent was very strong, but he did not expect his opponent to be so strong that he could be on par with him. Kill. He knew that he could not wait any longer. He had to use his full strength to kill his opponent. Therefore, the great devil roared as his black hair danced in the wind. His eyes flashed like lightning. Boom. Demonic chi filled the sky, shaking the surroundings. The terrifying power overturned the entire world. He became stronger again. What a terrifying aura. The Teng clan and the others retreated frantically. Xiao Kuang and the others also retreated like lightning. Damn it. Could it be that the great devil did not use his full strength earlier? They started to worry for Lin Xian. Buzz. In the skies, the great demon roared out in rage. He was like a peerless demon king. The black scythe in his hand became even more bizarre. It let out a sharp cry and slashed down from the sky like a demon. Whoosh! A huge black crack appeared and extended downwards for thousands of meters. And it was still getting bigger. If one was swallowed up by this black crack, perhaps even a peerless almighty would not be able to escape. Whoosh! On the other hand, Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. He quickly dodged the great black crack, and with a sky-shattering strike he slammed into the black scythe. Not only that, the ancient dragon abyss sword emitted a dazzling light, and the great dragon sword soul in his body began to revolve wildly. Lin Xian's terrifying combat strength soared, and he wanted to shatter his opponent's weapon. Clang, clang. An earth-shattering sound rang out, rushing straight into the clouds, causing a terrifying wave of energy to rise up in the void. It was thousands of feet tall, and it swept out in all directions. In an instant, the area within a radius of tens of thousands of li had completely fallen into the enemy's hands. However, this black sickle was incomparably terrifying. It must be a precious weapon, so under such a powerful bombardment, it was only retreating bit by bit, its light dimming. However, it did not shatter. Damn it, be destroyed for me. The great demon was also furious. Endless demonic chi poured into the black scythe. Boom. The black chi exploded, turning into a circular light wave. It instantly rushed in all directions. Death God summoning. The great demon held the black scythe and slashed out horizontally. Between heaven and earth, countless chi of death circled around, and an illusory image of a death god appeared out of nowhere. However, it was hair-raising. Tens of thousands of miles away, the Teng family's warriors, Xiao Kuang, and the others all trembled. They felt that their souls were about to be destroyed. Was this the power of the great demon? It was too powerful. As expected, when the death god summoning appeared, Murong Qingqing, the dark red divine dragon, and the others all frowned. On the other side, the second demon, the third demon, and the fourth demon all laughed. Ah, Big Brother is finally serious. He has used his ultimate move. Just wait and see, that kid will definitely die. As they spoke, they retreated a few thousand miles, increasing the distance between them. They looked into the distance. Murong Qingqing and the dark red divine dragon did not make any more moves. This was because they also felt the terror of this attack. Lin Xian was the closest, so he naturally felt it too. A strong sense of danger instantly enveloped him, as if his soul was about to be extinguished. Under my death god summoning, you will die in the 18 levels of hell. On the other side, the great demon let out a cold voice. The death god's illusory image gradually became clearer. Chapter 23-28. That strong sense of threat grew even stronger. Many people knelt on the ground and trembled. They could not resist at all. The huge Grim Reaper stretched out its hands and was about to envelop Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and a golden light appeared in his eyes. Soul ignition. Whoosh. It was a terrifying eye technique attack. A mysterious flame flew out of his right eye and enveloped the two Grim Reaper's hands. Whoosh. Whoosh. The two Grim Reaper's hands burned and the terrifying power of death disappeared instantly. At the same time, the great demon spat out a mouthful of blood and his face turned pale. Damn it! How is this possible? How can you break my Grim Reaper's summon? He was crazy. The Grim Reaper's summon was a terrifying soul attack that could summon the shadow of the Grim Reaper. It could instantly grab the enemy's soul. As long as the soul was destroyed, the warrior would be considered dead even if the physical body was not injured. It could be said that it was a terrifying attack that was impossible to guard against. Even a peerless almighty could not resist it. However, he did not expect it to fail now. The divine ability that he was proud of, the Grim Reaper's summon, had been broken by his opponent. Around him, the second, third, and fourth demons were stunned and disbelief was written all over their faces. They originally thought that this move could kill Lin Xian. However, things had greatly exceeded their expectations. However, while they were surprised, Lin Xian's eyes once again blossomed with even more mysterious flames. Whoosh, whoosh. The flames followed the arm of the Grim Reaper's shadow and spread forward. Brr. In the next moment, a painful roar resounded between heaven and earth like an ancient Sanskrit chant. The Grim Reaper's shadow became distorted and crazy. Damn it. Seeing this, the great demon roared and waved his black scythe. Buzz. The Grim Reaper's scythe also appeared in his hand. He waved it forcefully and cut off the mysterious flames to ensure that he was not burned. However, after doing this, the great demon's face was very pale. Obviously, he had also been affected by the impact. Moreover, his injuries were not light. Damn brat, I'll kill you. With a roar, he waved his scythe again. Floating light. The golden runes pulsed and Lin Xian's left eye once more emitted a mysterious light. Instantly, the great devil's body trembled and his eyes went blank. Demon ceiling. Reverse chaos. The two killer moves quickly shot forward. Ping ping ping. The great demon was sent flying. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His body knocked over a dozen mountain peaks, stirring up a large amount of dust. Big brother. In the distance, the third devil and the others screamed crazily. Teng Kuan and the others felt their scalps go numb. What? Even the great demon was sent flying. Could it be that this brat was already invincible? Boom. Demonic chi rose up as the great demon rose up from the ground and roared into the sky. He was like a demon king looking extremely ferocious. A black armor appeared on his body. In front of him was a shield formed by a ghost face. The ghost face shield was full of cracks, but it was not broken. It seemed like the shield had saved the great demon. Whoosh! After taking a few steps, the great demon instantly flew back. His face was abnormally cold. Soul attack. Damn it. You're actually a soul expert. He was simply too shocked. Originally, he wanted to use a soul attack to kill the other party and achieve an unexpected effect. But he did not expect that the other party's soul was even stronger than his, and his attack was even stranger than his. However, do you think that a soul attack can do anything to me? The great demon quickly formed a seal with his palm. Death curse. A cold voice sounded. Then, countless black runes appeared on his forehead. They were like demonic runes, forming a terrifying mark. As the demonic runes appeared, countless vengeful spirits appeared around him. The ferocious ghost faces roared and roared. They formed a mysterious defense that protected the great demon's forehead. Brat, I'll let you know the price of injuring me. After using the death curse, The great demon was no longer worried about being attacked by a soul attack. His body once again emitted a terrifying killing intent. The black scythe in his hand was mixed with endless demonic chi. It was like a black moon that directly pressed down. The black demonic chi covered the heavens. The sky was filled with killing intent that pierced through all directions. Black lightning streaked across the sky. At this moment, the great demon was like a demon god, erupting with unparalleled power. Buzz. The floating light in Lin Xian's left eye was unleashed. As for the great demon, his body stopped. A ferocious look appeared in his eyes, but it quickly returned to normal. The only change was that the vengeful spirits around him were even more miserable. As if they had been struck by lightning, they screamed crazily. In fact, many of them directly dissipated. It was transferred. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. His body swayed and he dodged the other party's attack. He realized that his floating light had lost its effect. To be precise, it did not disappear but was transferred by the great demon. The other party used a very magical ability to transfer the soul attack to the surrounding vengeful spirits. This was also the reason why the surrounding vengeful spirits were screaming. In the distance, the dark red dragon frowned when he saw this scene. The death curse was an ancient cultivation technique. It seemed that the great demon was not simple. He actually knew such a lost ancient technique. Brat, it's useless. I have thousands of vengeful spirits. You can't hurt me at all. The great demon was ferocious as he slashed down with the black scythe in his hand. Do you think that without the soul attack I can't do anything to you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. A terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The dragon sword realm instantly flew out, and 108,000 swords flew across the sky. The death god strike. The great demon roared. The death god's shadow appeared behind him again. Then the death god's scythe slashed down together with his movements. Boom, boom. This attack was too terrifying. Even an almighty might not be able to withstand it. Lin Xian also roared. 9 mysterious runes appeared on the ancient dragon abyss sword. One of them was instantly dissolved. Boom. At the same time, an earth-shattering aura surged out from the ancient dragon abyss sword. It was as if an almighty sword had awakened and swept through the 9 heavens. The terrifying sword light traversed tens of thousands of miles. In an instant, the second and third demons were sent flying. The dark red dragon and Murong Qingqing also quickly retreated. In the distance, the Teng family members retreated tens of thousands of miles again. Boom. Crack. In front of them, countless sword chi swept across, and the space instantly collapsed. Damn it, what's going on? This aura? The great demon was shocked. Then his pupils constricted. There was something wrong with that sword. Boom. Just as he reacted, the ancient dragon abyss sword slashed down. The 1,000-meter-long giant sword slashed forward. In an instant, it collided with the death god's scythe. A strong storm occurred between heaven and earth, and everything within a radius of 100,000 miles was enveloped. Boom, boom, boom. Tens of thousands of mountains disappeared together. Large patches of forest collapsed, and cracks tens of thousands of meters long appeared on the ground. There were hundreds of them. It was extremely terrifying. Chapter 23-29. The great demon roared angrily. The armor on his body bloomed with light, and the ghost mask shield in front of him emitted a black demonic light. On the other side, beside Lin Xian, the dragon sword domain enveloped him, forming the shadow of a true dragon that coiled around him. Boom, boom, boom. Continuous rumbling sounds could be heard as the violent energy between heaven and earth burst forth. In the end, the great demon's ghost mask finally couldn't withstand it anymore. It was already covered in cracks, but after receiving such a strong impact, it exploded with a bang. The energy immediately struck the great demon's body. Boom. In an instant, the great demon's body caved in and he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Countless of his bones were broken. Damn it! Death Storm. The great demon roared angrily and waved his black scythe crazily to counterattack. Boom, boom. On the other side, Lin Xian's body bloomed with light. He supported the dragon sword domain and isolated himself from all the impact. At the same time, the ancient sword in his hand descended crazily again. His 4 ultimate moves quickly surged out. The terrifying energy completely destroyed the area in front of him. Bang, bang, bang. The death storm was instantly broken. The great demon's body was once again impacted and he kept retreating. More and more of his bones were broken and even his armor was cracked. Some places directly collapsed. Damn it! Demon King Lock. Block it for me. The great demon spat out large mouthfuls of blood and roared crazily. Endless black energy formed a black demonic lock on his body, completely protecting his body. However, he was still sent flying tens of thousands of miles. How could this be? I don't believe it. After the great demon stopped, he kept vomiting blood and roaring crazily. A young man in his 20s had seriously injured him. How was this possible? In the next moment he charged over crazily again. However, he was soon sent flying again. The armor on his body was shattered and a sword mark appeared, cutting deep into his bones. He knew that he couldn't defeat the other party. The other party was powerful and had an extremely terrifying treasure sword. If they continued fighting, he probably wouldn't be able to turn the tables. Thinking of this, his expression turned ugly and he looked unwilling. However, there was nothing he could do. In the end, he roared angrily and waved his sleeve, enveloping Teng Kuan and the others as he flew towards the black ship. The black sleeves were like dark clouds, covering a radius of 10,000 miles. In an instant, Teng Kuan and the other cultivators were all sucked in. The great devil's body flickered as he arrived on the black ship. The second devil, the third devil, and the fourth devil also rapidly retreated, wanting to leave. You want to leave? Stay here. The dark red divine dragon sneered and swung its dragon claws at the 3 demons and 4 demons. Murong Qingqing also unleashed her flying flower slash. Flower petals that filled the sky condensed into a sharp blade light that slashed down from the sky. Bang bang clang. In an instant, the second devil, the third devil, and the fourth devil were all attacked. 2 devils were still fine. After all, they were peerless almighties and could still block them. However, 3 and 4 devils were not so lucky. Under the serious state of the dark red mystical dragon, the 2 of them were pierced through and their hearts were grabbed by the dragon's claws. Bang bang. Not only that, but their bodies also exploded in the sky, turning into 2 clouds of blood mist. What? Killed. On the big black ship, Teng Kuan and the others saw this as soon as they landed. They were extremely shocked and all of them began to tremble. 2 of the members of the 4 devils of Jili were killed at the same time. If this news were to spread, the entire Jili dynasty would be in an uproar. Third devil. Fourth devil. Seeing this, the second devil roared crazily, and his killing intent surged. Damn it, I'm going to kill you all. I must kill you all. He was too angry. He did not expect his third and fourth devils to be killed. If you want to take revenge, let's see if you have the ability to do so. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The ancient dragon abyss sword once again slashed out dozens of terrifying sword chi, slashing forward. Bang bang. The second devil spat out blood again and flew backward. A crack even appeared on his sky-splitting axe. Second devil, come up quickly. Leave this place. The great devil shouted coldly. He also wanted to fight back and avenge his third and fourth devils, but he could not do it at all. His opponent's strength was far beyond his expectations. Big brother, activate the black demon ship and kill them. The second devil shouted crazily as he retreated. Bus. In fact, the great devil was already doing so. This black ship was also a treasure. It had surpassed the peak of the earth rank and had reached the level of a sub-heaven rank treasure. Could be said that it was extremely terrifying. Not only could this black ship fly, but it could also attack and defend. At this moment, the great devil activated the black demon ship. Boom. The black demon ship trembled slowly. A black light shone and a vortex formed on top of it. Black demon light, go to hell. The great devil activated it crazily. Suddenly, a black light was emitted from the black demon ship and surged forward. This light was too terrifying. It could definitely kill a peerless almighty. Haha, go to hell. Seeing this scene, the second devil sneered. On the black ship, Teng Kuan and the others revealed a sinister smile. No one could survive under the black demon light. Even a peerless almighty could not resist it. Although these people were powerful, they were definitely dead this time. Not good. On the other side, tens of thousands of miles away, Ling Xiao Kuang and the others' eyelids twitched. Murong Qingqing also frowned. The dark red divine dragon also felt a sense of danger. It said, "Kid, quickly take out the black earth." Whoosh. Come in. Lin Xian did not hesitate and sent out the black earth. Then he pulled Murong Qingqing and the others in. When Murong Qingqing and the others entered, the black demon light bombarded the black earth. Suddenly, a shocking explosion occurred. The terrifying black light waves swept in all directions. The surrounding 100,000 miles fell into chaos. The space shattered and the earth rolled. The violent energy formed 900 black light pillars that pierced through the clouds. This scene was like the end of the world. The mountains and forests below, as well as the demonic beasts inside, were all destroyed in an instant. Nothing could survive. Even a few mighty beings who were passing by were reduced to ashes by this energy storm. It was too terrifying. On the Black Demon ship, Teng Kuan, the Teng family's eldest young master, and the others swallowed their saliva when they saw this scene. A black light screen appeared on the black ship and enveloped them. Countless runes shone and formed a strong defense, blocking all the energy attacks. No matter what, they could finally kill them this time. The Teng family members heaved a sigh of relief. Dying like this was too easy for them. The second devil snorted. The other party killed his third and fourth brothers. He wanted to cut them into pieces. He was indeed displeased by the fact that he had been killed with a single blow. Don't worry, he would not let them go so easily. The great devil said coldly, "When we return, use all our power to investigate these people's families and sections. Anyone related to them will be killed. Leave no one alive." Chapter 23:30. A cold voice sounded, causing Teng Kuan and the others' scalps to go numb. As expected of the peerless Demon King, his methods were indeed ruthless. However, they liked it very much. That was because the four Zhili demons were powerhouses of their families. They also knew that they had to eliminate the roots. Being able to exterminate the families of their enemies was a very exciting thing for them. In fact, they had already begun to discuss intensely what kind of torture they should use to get rid of those families. "Let's go." The great demon also turned the boat around and prepared to leave. However, at that moment, a sneer came from behind. "What? You want to leave already? Did I say you could leave? What?" Hearing that, everyone's bodies trembled. Teng Kuan and the others were stunned. The second demon was also shocked, and the great demon felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He suddenly turned around, and his eyes were like black heavenly blades that cut through the void. "Damn it, who is it? Get out here." His voice was filled with endless killing intent, and his gaze swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. "Do you think that a mere death ray can kill us?" The disdainful voice sounded again. Meanwhile, the great demon's expression turned completely gloomy. "Damn brat, you're not dead? What? How is that possible?" The second demon shrieked, and his eyes were filled with shock. Teng Hui and the others almost fainted from shock. What kind of joke is this? Once the black demon light is released, even a peerless mighty figure can't resist it. Only an invincible king would be able to resist it. However, the other party was actually safe and sound. How is that possible? They could not believe it at all. In fact, they even suspected that the other party's vengeful spirit had come to take their lives. Boom. A long black saber appeared in the sky and quickly slashed down, cutting through the violent energy in front of it. The great demon snorted coldly. He wanted to see if the other party was a human or a ghost. However, he was soon stunned. He was not the only one. The second demon, Teng Kuan, and the others behind all widened their eyes in disbelief. That was because there was also a black spirit boat floating in front of them. It was abnormally simple and mysterious. What's that? A spirit boat? How could it block the death ray? Everyone was puzzled. The great demon frowned. Could it be that the other party's spirit boat was also a substandard extreme heaven treasure? One had to know that his black demon ship was a lesser heavenly artifact. Only artifacts of the same level could withstand his black demon ship's attack. Damn it, snatch it. At this moment, the great demon's eyes shone with a terrifying light. Heaven-ranked treasure aura, that was an incomparable treasure. It was even more precious than a top-grade Earth-step artifact. If he could get his hands on it, his strength would increase exponentially. This way, even if Old Third and Old Fourth died, it would not be a loss. Thinking of this, he snorted coldly and once again controlled the black demon ship to attack rapidly. The huge black demon ship bloomed with runes that filled the sky. In front of it, a black vortex formed. Then, a black beam of light blasted forward. The void shattered in an instant, and a terrifying energy enveloped the black earth. Boom, boom. The black earth was struck and was sent flying once again. A great tremor had occurred within the ship. Linger and the others couldn't stand still and almost fell. Lin Xian's expression darkened. Fuck. This guy is getting excited. Kid, hurry up and counterattack. The dark red divine dragon waved its claws. Teach him a lesson. It was too angry. The other party actually dared to attack again and again. He was really reckless. Lin Xian snorted coldly and a light flickered in his eyes. He also prepared to attack. Because the energy required to activate the black earth was too large, He would not use it unless he had no other choice. If he could snatch the other party's black ship, then he could use it to fly. This way it would be much more convenient. Therefore he prepared to attack. In the next moment, Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and 3 divine crystals entered the formation in front of him. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian's face revealed a trace of pain. In the surroundings, Zhao Zhirua, Xiao Kuang and the others were extremely shocked. Heavens, what is he doing? Using divine crystals as energy. That's too crazy. Murong Qingqing was still fine. After all, she had seen the power of the Black Earth before. However, Xiao Kuang, Zhao Zhirua and the others were extremely shocked. No matter how big the family was, they would not dare to use such a luxurious method. However, they soon understood why they had to use 3 divine crystals. Because the power of the Black Earth Tycoon was too terrifying. In front, after the Black Demon ship's attack, the Great Demon and the others on the ship focused again. However, they did not have any joy. On the contrary, their expressions became more and more unsightly. Because they discovered that although the other party's spirit ship was sent flying, it did not shatter. In fact, there was not even a trace of a crack. Damn it, how is this possible? The Great Demon's face was full of disbelief. Even if it was a heaven-grade artifact, after being bombarded by an artifact of the same grade, it would still shatter. He did not believe it and gritted his teeth, preparing to attack again. Because he was determined to obtain the other party's spirit ship. However, before he could move, the black spirit ship in front of him suddenly released a black light. Then it also released a black light wave. Boom. Heaven and earth shook, and the Great Demon and the others' expressions changed. Because in an instant they were enveloped by the black light. Teng Kuan and the others screamed crazily. The Great Demon's expression also changed. Not good. He controlled the Black Demon ship and wanted to escape quickly. However, the other party's black light was too fast. In an instant it shocked them. Crack, crack, crack. The defensive light screen around the Black Demon ship shattered in an instant. The terrifying black energy instantly pressed down. Damn it. Seeing this, the Great Demon roared angrily, and armor appeared on his body. The 2 demons also defended. The 2 of them were peerless mighty figures, so they could still resist for the time being. Moreover, what they suffered was the aftermath of the energy. However, Teng Kuan and the martial artists of the Teng family were not so lucky. Although it was only the aftermath, it was not something they could resist. In an instant, hundreds of martial artists of the Teng family were affected by this energy and exploded into a bloody mist that filled the air. No. The remaining people screamed miserably. They were extremely terrified. Even Teng Kuan and the eldest young master of the Teng family vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Who knew how many of their bones had been broken? Finally, the black energy light rushed into the distance, and the terrifying energy dissipated. The remaining people heaved a sigh of relief. However, they were still lying on the ground with pale faces. The Great Demon and the second demon had cold expressions as they gritted their teeth. Damn it. Although they were angry, they did not dare to attack. There was even deep fear in their eyes. This was because the previous beam of light had missed the Black Demon ship. Otherwise, the Black Demon ship would have been shattered into pieces by now. Damn it. What exactly is the other party's spirit ship? Chapter 23:31. Damn it. What exactly was the other party's spirit ship? How could it be so powerful? Could it be a heaven-grade artifact? The 2 demons roared crazily, their faces full of malevolence. They were too shocked. The other party's attack had destroyed their defense. This was beyond their expectations. After all, this was the Black Demon ship. A heaven-grade artifact. Run, run. The Great Demon no longer dared to plot against the other party. They had to escape quickly because the other party was too evil. Boom, boom, boom. The Great Demon controlled the Black Demon ship to form a light screen again. At the same time, he turned the ship around and quickly fled into the distance. Although the Black Demon ship was huge, it was extremely fast. In an instant, it turned into a bolt of lightning and disappeared in front of them. Damn it. He escaped. Kit, hurry up and chase after him. Don't let him escape. Inside the Black Earth, the dark red dragon roared anxiously. Lin Xian said, "Don't worry, he can't escape." As he spoke, he shot out another 2 divine crystals, which sank into the formation in front of him. Black Earth, it's up to you. Lin Xian didn't control the spirit ship directly. Instead, he handed it to Black Earth because no one knew the spirit ship better than Black Earth. Don't worry, leave it to me. Black Earth was still in the form of a broken sword. He floated forward and kept waving it. Buzz. The next moment, black earth emitted light, tore the void in front of them and disappeared. In the sky, a black light moved forward quickly like a bolt of black lightning. It was the black demon ship. At this moment, everyone on the black demon ship heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that they were out of danger. This feeling of surviving a calamity was simply too wonderful. Phew. Even the great demon heaved a sigh of relief, because he also felt a trace of lingering fear. However, not long after, his body stiffened, and his pupils suddenly shrank to the size of needles. Buzz. The black demon ship also stopped instantly. What's going on? The powerful thrust caused their bodies to sway. Many weaker martial artists were directly thrown out. The second demon also stood up. Big brother, what's wrong? The great demon didn't say anything, but his expression was extremely solemn as he stared ahead. Everyone was puzzled as they looked ahead. The next moment they screamed. What? This was impossible. Damn it, I don't believe it. These people screamed crazily because there was a black spirit boat floating in front of them. It was completely black and looked very simple. It was the one that had attacked them before. However, they had already shaken him off. Why would he appear now? Furthermore, what shocked them even more was that the other party was not chasing after them. Instead, he had directly appeared in front of them and blocked their path. Gulp, gulp. At this moment, everyone swallowed their saliva. Teng Kuan and the Teng family's eldest young master, who were still alive, were terrified. The second devil's expression was ugly as well. The great devil didn't say anything. He waved his arm and turned the ship around, fleeing in another direction. Boom, boom. However, before they could run far, the black demon ship suddenly shook violently. A violent force swallowed them up like a wave. The defense was shattered and the ship shook. Everyone vomited blood. The weaker ones were directly crushed into a bloody mist, while the stronger ones were blasted out of the sky. It was impossible for the black demon ship to escape now. This was because a huge hole had appeared in the hull of his ship, directly damaging the black demon ship. Boom boom, boom, boom. The black demon ship quickly descended like a mountain, crashing onto a large ship. Countless cracks spread out in all directions. As for those on the black demon ship, they vomited blood again. How could this be? Everyone's faces were ashen. The great devil gritted his teeth in disbelief. This black demon ship was a heaven-grade treasure. It was extremely terrifying. Even a peerless almighty couldn't break it. How could the other party break it with a single strike? What grade was the other party's spirit boat? He didn't dare to imagine. At this moment he couldn't care less. He turned around and fled, turning into a bolt of lightning and instantly rushing into the clouds. Boom. However, it was useless. In the next moment he fell from the sky and crashed into the ground, creating a deep pit. Above, the black earth bloomed with light, forming a black light screen that enveloped everyone like a bowl. Buzz. Crack. The black earth's cabin door opened, and Lin Xian, the dark red divine dragon, and Murong Qingqing walked out. Ling and the others didn't come out. They were still watching from inside. Seeing Lin Xian and the other two come out, Teng Kuan and the others trembled with fear. Lin Xian stretched out his palm and sucked hard. Whoosh, whoosh. Teng Kuan and the eldest young master of the Teng family were sucked over. The two of them were grabbed by two large green palms and kept struggling. Let me go. Please let me go. Teng Kuan and the eldest young master of the Teng family begged. Let you go? Lin Xian sneered. When you attacked me previously, did you think of letting me go? You even called the 4 demons of Zholi over. It's obvious that you want to kill us. How can I let you go? Don't worry, I'll give you a big gift. What are you doing? Let me tell you, the Teng family has an invincible king. If you dare to touch us, you're dead. Seeing that begging didn't work, the two of them roared ferociously again. Buzz. However, Lin Xian didn't waste time talking nonsense with them. Golden light enveloped his left eye and the floating light god art instantly hit the two of them. I've created an illusory space. In this illusory space, I'm the ruler. 1 second outside was equivalent to 1 year inside. Inside, you'll receive all kinds of torture. After 1 day and 1 night, you'll die. After speaking, Lin Xian waved his hand and threw the two of them to the side. The two of them trembled and their eyes were empty. It was obvious that their souls had entered the illusory space created by Lin Xian. They had to pay the price for their actions. This was their fate. Hearing Lin Xian's words, the remaining Teng family cultivators in the distance trembled. 1 second outside was equivalent to 1 year inside, and they had to endure 1 day and 1 night. Wouldn't this add up to a few hundred years? They couldn't die even if they wanted to. This was the most unbearable thing. Let us go. Please let us go. At least give us a quick death. Some people knelt down and begged for mercy. However, there were also a few who roared crazily. Damn it, kill. We'll self-detonate. Even if we die, we'll take them with us. Whoosh. However, it was useless. The dark red dragon spat out dragon flames that filled the sky and instantly burned these people to ashes. I'll leave the two demons to you. I'll deal with the great demon. Lin Xian's figure flashed. He pulled out the ancient dragon abyss sword and walked forward again. Little girl Murong, leave it to me. I haven't fought for a long time. The dark red dragon said. Hearing this, Murong Qingqing nodded. All right. She didn't make a move. The dark red dragon swung its tail and attacked the two demons. Chapter 23:32. The great demon roared angrily. His eyes were unusually cold. He knew that he could no longer escape. He had to fight with all his might and kill the detestable kid in front of him. Only then could he escape. Boom. Therefore, in the next moment, his demonic aura surged into the sky as he unleashed his combat strength to the extreme. This was a battle of life and death. He would definitely not hold back. Death strike. The great demon first used the death curse to prevent the other party's soul attack. Then he unleashed a powerful death strike. The terrifying scythe slashed out like a river that roared into the nine heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian also used the chaotic sky destroyer sword to fight with him. The two of them fought until the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. In the end, Lin Xian even used the terrifying divine ability of the great dragon sword soul. The sky was filled with attacks, terrifying divine beasts and various divine abilities. The great demon was forced to retreat. The great demon was too shocked. He did not expect the other party to be so powerful. He had even started to burn his spiritual power. However, he was still suppressed by the other party. This was unbearable. Damn brat, I'll kill you at all costs. The great demon retreated rapidly. He waved his hand and stabbed the scythe into the ground. Then his hands quickly formed a seal. Heavenly demon descent. With a furious roar, the demonic aura on his body burned fiercely. Even the blood in his body began to burn. A black vortex appeared above his head. A blurry shadow instantly descended. The shadow was like a demon god. It had a powerful aura that crushed the surroundings. The moment it appeared, it shattered the nine heavens. Buzz. The terrifying shadow entered the great demon's body. The great demon roared ferociously. The armor on his body instantly shattered. His terrifying muscles bulged and his black hair danced wildly. He was extremely ferocious. He roared crazily as if he had gone mad. The demonic aura on his body turned into monstrous waves that swept in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the surrounding space was completely shattered. The ground also cracked. At this moment, his power skyrocketed again. Previously, he was an early stage 8-star. Now, it seemed that he had reached the peak of the early stage 8-star. Kid, what do you have to defeat me? You are not qualified. I have cultivated for almost 2,000 years. There is no way I can defeat you. You can go to hell for me. The great demon roared crazily. The demonic chi on his body burned fiercely. The black scythe in his hand slashed down crazily. A pair of black wings even appeared on his back, causing his speed to become even faster than before. In the blink of an eye, the great demon unleashed over 100 attacks. Lin Xian's dragon sword domain transformed into an azure dragon cauldron, protecting him. As for him, he brandished the dragon source ancient sword and clashed with it. Intense sounds rang out in the sky. However, the great demon used all of his strength and didn't hesitate to burn his life force, so his combat strength increased greatly. This caused Lin Xian to continuously retreat. It was yet another shocking strike. Lin Xian was pushed back by 3,000 li, smashing through a lot of the void. There was even a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Seeing this, the great demon laughed even more wildly. "Ha, kid, you are no match for me. Now go to hell." He shouted crazily, and the demonic energy on his body burned fiercely. It was very eye-catching. In an instant, the great demon was like a demon king holding a black scythe and charging over. The entire sky was trembling. At this moment, the great demon seemed to have become the only thing in the world. This attack was so terrifying that even Murong Qingqing, who was watching the battle from afar, changed her expression. The second demon also laughed loudly. "Do you see that? This is my big brother's true strength." Not good. Lin Xian quickly dodged and raised his sword. The sword energy in front of him intertwined to form a light screen, blocking the attack. However, this attack was too terrifying. It was the great demon's full-strength attack. There was even a ferocious demon behind the great demon that had mysterious power. Therefore, in an instant, Lin Xian's sword light screen was shattered. The terrifying black energy blasted his body. The azure dragon cauldron let out an earth-shaking sound. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian kept retreating. Cracks appeared on the azure dragon cauldron, and some parts were directly split open. Lin Xian's qi and blood churned, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. When the great demon saw this scene, he shouted crazily, "Kid, do you see that? This is my true strength." The great demon sneered. After being possessed by the heavenly demon, his combat strength had greatly increased, far surpassing before. Moreover, he was burning his life force and demonic energy. It made his fighting strength become abnormally violent. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the sword energy around his body condensed again, forming an azure pagoda that protected him. At the same time, his body retreated rapidly, leaving countless afterimages in the sky. "You want to leave? Not so easy." The great demon waved his hand, and the entire sky turned pitch black. His king's domain instantly enveloped a radius of 100,000 miles. "Today is the day you die." The great demon's voice was cold, and his killing intent became even stronger, causing the entire world to tremble. It was as if he had transformed into a heavenly demon, extremely terrifying. "Damn it." Seeing this scene, Murong Qingqing cried out and was about to attack. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon was also worried. He didn't expect that the great demon could actually use the power of a heavenly demon. On the Black Earth, Xiao Kuang and the others were even more worried. However, they couldn't help at all. Ling Er looked at the short sword in front of her and begged, "Black Earth, hurry up and activate the spirit ship, kill the great demon king and save Big Brother Lin." However, Black Earth shook his sword. "He has his own mission and I can't do it." Black Earth also turned and looked into the distance. At the same time, he said in his heart, "As the successor of the dragon sword, these trials and battles are all things you must experience. The path of a great emperor isn't easy to walk." Boom. The demonic energy in front of him became even more terrifying. The black sickle once again pierced through the azure pagoda and enveloped Lin Xian, wanting to split him in half. Lin Xian's muscles instantly tightened, and he felt that the qi and blood in his body were about to freeze. In the next moment, a sharp light appeared in his eyes, and the first seal of the dragon source ancient sword was quickly undone. At the same time, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared crazily. Lin Xian also launched a shocking attack. This sword was too terrifying, as if it resonated with heaven and earth. Endless dragon roars and sword cries rang out. Boom. This sword slammed onto the black sickle, and a shocking explosion sounded, stopping the black sickle's advance. He blocked it. Seeing this scene, Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and stopped advancing. She retreated to the side and continued to watch. What? How is this possible? The great demon was also stunned. How is it possible that the other party can also increase his battle strength? Could it be that the other party has some secret technique? Chapter 23:33. He roared angrily, wanting to force the other party back. The heavenly demon phantom appeared on his body again, and a terrifying power was crazily focused on the black scythe. At this moment, a terrifying demonic aura surged into the sky within a radius of 100,000 miles, turning into rolling power that drilled into the great demon's body. Boom. The ancient dragon abyss sword was forced back again, and Lin Xian also kept retreating, cracking the ground. "I have the heavenly demon blessing and am invincible among those of the same level. What do you have to fight me?" The great demon roared. "Invincible among those of the same level? You think too highly of yourself. In the vast continent, there are billions of living beings. What right do you have to say that you are invincible among those of the same level? Today I will let you know what it means by there is always someone better than you." Buzz. In Lin Xian's body, the great dragon sword soul kept roaring. The sword aura on his body became even more terrifying. "You still want to fight back? You have no chance. Go to hell." Heavenly demon shrouding region. The great demon roared crazily and struck out his most powerful attack. Rumble. Between heaven and earth, demonic aura permeated, and there was even black thunder descending. This attack was too terrifying, as if it could destroy the entire world. Great dragon kill. Lin Xian also roared angrily, and like a sword god descending, the great dragon sword soul in his body surged and attached to the ancient dragon abyss sword. Boom. Like a dragon attacking, it roared into the 9 heavens. A shocking collision occurred, and dozens of cracks that were tens of thousands of meters long appeared between heaven and earth. It was like a black dragon dancing in the sky. It was extremely terrifying. This attack was too shocking, and it even spread for hundreds of thousands of miles. What happened? This battle finally attracted the attention of the cultivators in the nearby cities. For a moment, the cultivators in several cities raised their heads and looked into the distance. Then they were extremely shocked. Because hundreds of thousands of miles away, there was a huge black crack in the sky that was constantly being torn apart. It was as if the entire sky had been split into 2. Endless black lightning struck down crazily. What was going on? Could it be that someone was transcending a tribulation? Or was there a shocking super battle? These cultivators were shocked because this scene was too terrifying. Even the peerless powerhouses in the city rose into the sky. Their eyes were like divine lamps looking into the distance. But it was too far, hundreds of thousands of miles, they couldn't see it clearly. Moreover, the storm was also very strong. Let's go and take a look. How many peerless almighties were flying forward? Because they were really too curious. Just what kind of battle could cause such a terrifying scene? The collision of the ancient sword and the black sickle was like the collision of 10,000 lightning bolts. In the next moment, cracking sounds could be heard in the sky. More and more cracks appeared on the black scythe. Boom. Then, the black sickle shattered into countless pieces and scattered all over the ground. The ancient sword descended once more and stabbed into the great demon's body. Boom. The great demon's body instantly split open. Blood spurted out, dyeing the void red. Big brother. When the second devil saw this, he howled in rage. His face was filled with horror because he couldn't believe that his brother was still injured after using the heavenly demon possession spell. Moreover, he was so severely injured that he was almost split in half. Boom. The great demonic Tao cultivator was sent flying, causing the ground to crack. In the next moment he let out a crazy roar. The demonic chi on his body surged wildly, trying to heal his wounds. However, this sword strike contained the terrifying power of the great dragon sword soul. It was impossible to heal it in a short period of time. A terrifying amount of blood gushed out from the wound. Shock, anger, and fear. The great demon couldn't believe that Lin Fan could shatter his weapon. That black scythe was an extremely frightening treasure. But now it had been shattered. What was even more despicable was that the sword strike had almost split him in half. Damn it! The great demon roared crazily. He once again used all the strength in his body. The heavenly demon phantom became even more solid. However, he didn't fight with Lin Xian. Instead, he turned around and fled. He couldn't win and didn't want to fight anymore. He only wanted to escape. However, Lin Xian didn't give him a chance. He held the ancient dragon sword with both hands and the great dragon sword soul spread out, forming a true dragon that wrapped around Lin Xian. Then Lin Xian merged with the sword and turned into a dragon shadow that charged over. Buzz. The sword pierced through the heart. The great demon stopped in midair. He lowered his head, his face full of shock. No. Again. A transparent bloody hole appeared on his body. His internal organs were completely destroyed. He had received a fatal injury. Not only that, but his soul also seemed to have been split open. Boom. In the next moment his body fell and smashed the ground. In the dust that filled the sky, a heavenly demon phantom entered the black hole and disappeared. Dead. The incomparably terrifying great demon was actually killed. This scene caused everyone to be shocked. Xiao Kuang and the others were shocked. They couldn't believe it. The second demon widened his eyes. That was his big brother who was countless times stronger than him. However, he was actually killed by someone. This caused his entire body to tremble. He also wanted to escape, but in the end he was killed by the dark red dragon. From then on, the 4 demons of Zhuli were all destroyed. The cultivators from the Teng family were all killed. After putting away the great demon and the second demon's storage rings, Lin Xian waved his sleeve and put away the black demon ship. Then he entered the black tycoon. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and drove the black earth, turning into a stream of light and disappearing. Not long after Lin Xian left, a few rays of light flew over from afar. They were the peerless powerhouses of the nearby cities. The phenomenon of heaven and earth from before aroused their curiosity. Therefore they came over to investigate. However, when they arrived it was as if they were struck by lightning. Because the area within a radius of 100,000 miles was destroyed beyond recognition. The ground seemed to have been flipped open and countless cracks spread out. In the sky there was still a terrifying killing intent. The surrounding sea of blood surged, but it still refused to dissipate. Needless to say, the one who died must be a peerless powerhouse. Because only the blood of such a powerhouse would have such terrifying energy. Even if he died, it wouldn't dissipate. This was the second demon. An old man exclaimed. This was the second demon of the 4 demons of Jianghu. He was actually killed. Heavens! Who the hell did this? These peerless powerhouses were extremely shocked. The second demon of the 4 demons of Jianghu was extremely terrifying. He was a peerless powerhouse and was famous for his ferocity. They didn't dare to provoke him. But now he was killed here. How could the other 3 demons tolerate it? Especially the great demon, he was even more terrifying. When they thought of that great demon, their scalps went numb. However, they soon screamed because they also discovered the great demon's corpse. What? The great demon was also killed. Seeing the great demon's pierced body, the peerless powerhouses in the sky trembled. Who was it that could kill the great demon? Did an invincible king make a move? They swallowed their saliva. From the looks of it, the 3 demons and 4 demons were most likely dead. Who was it? To be able to kill the 4 demons of Jianghu. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.